All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast number 187 with ImaDrum. ImaDrum, how are we doing this morning?
Doing good. Tired, but other than that, dang, do you say 187?
187, yep.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
Yeah, no, it's and I haven't had a guest on for almost a month. The last one
It's
was
been that
Mod
long?
Husky. Yeah, I
That's
think
right. I
it's been
remember
like
that one.
3 weeks ish. So yeah,
Crazy how
I
long
mean
it's been.
I've
Time flies.
it really does. And I mean this hardcore group that I started, I'm just been so addicted to it. It's been hard to like schedule. It's been hard to like take any break from just streaming and gaming that I'm like, okay. So I finally reached out to you on Sunday when I took the morning off and I was like, I got to start scheduling some guests again. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
saw the DM and I was like, who, me? I was like, it's been 84 years. It's finally time.
Yeah, no, seriously. I mean, you and I said this when we started the recording, or before we started the recording. There's a lot of guests, including yourself, that have just been on the waiting list just forever, and it just, you know,
There's
it,
so many people to talk to that have different things to say. So it makes sense. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, and it's not like I'm doing a podcast every other day or anything. Like they're once a week. So if you really think about it, I can only really get on like 50 guests a year. But
It's still a lot, too.
yeah, it's a lot of guests, but ultimately, like, there's so many creators and so many players, and the repeat guests I want to have on to talk about new stuff
Mhm.
that's coming out. And it's just, it
Yeah,
takes
things could be
years to get people on.
situational too, based off of because like you do a lot of ramble stuff on your Twitch and YouTube, so
Hmm.
things could be situational too, depending on any updates going on in the game or content coming out, things like that. And you have different people with different skill sets and viewpoints and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly. And I want to say, this is the first ever cast where I am not playing on my Iron Man Sae Bae. I'm playing on
Ooh,
Fire Bay, who I have changed my name twice. It was Big Bay, then it was Micro Bay when I died, and now it's Fire Bay because I got the fire
oh
games.
yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, not great. But so you actually are making history right now with this cast. So it's a different account I'm AFKing on. So, but
Got on at the right time.
yeah, perfect. Drum, let's get an introduction of who you are. I guess just your history with OSRS and your history with content creation in general.
Oh man, that goes back a bit more than just old school RuneScape because I actually used to make videos on an older channel which still exists on YouTube. But over the years, when YouTube got more mainstream, they started copyright striking and deleting videos and blocking them in the countries over the years when it started getting more mainstream. But I started making videos probably back in like 2007, back with like Boomer Twins, Slade aka Kevin, Skychi, like that the old kind of crew, right back when Rs and Vs were the big kind of videos. That and like short skits and funny videos were like the go-to kind of content. Um, but yeah, no, I've been playing RuneScape in general since like 2001, so I've been around almost since the start. When I found it on like a mini clip, I'm not sure how you found it, by word of mouth or like however long ago it's been. Did you ever play like RuneScape? Well, I guess RS3 before it was RS3.
Yeah, no, I started playing RuneScape 2 in 2004, and I didn't find it from Miniclip. I had seen it on Miniclip because I would go on
Mhm.
Miniclip daily. But my friend, his name was Zarian. He was in my combined fourth and fifth grade class. He was a fifth grader. I was a fourth grader. And he was like, bro, you have to try RuneScape out. And so I remember hearing that game. So I went on Miniclip that evening. And that's, it's just now there's a chronic addiction to it for the last 20
Yeah,
years. So yeah, here we are.
same. I didn't know anyone that played back in like in real life when I was younger. Tons of friends that were on miniclip like in the computer classes just playing until they blocked it. Um, but yeah, I didn't know anyone. But yeah, I've been playing long time and been making videos. I started off by making just like short skits, funny things. I just wanted to make people laugh. I did like a couple of old RuneScape parodies kind of thing. Some of which got pretty popular before they got taken down. Like when God Swords first came out, I made a song called what's the original song called? My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah.
I remixed that to my God Sword brings all the noobs to my yard, and people loved it for whatever reason. I can't sing worth anything, but I mean that was part of the quote unquote charm. If
Yeah.
I just wanted to make people either laugh or laugh with me or laugh at me. Either way, I was fine with it. But people liked it, and I did some other ones. Then I took a break probably shortly after EOC dropped for like a couple of years. I tried to stick with it, couldn't. We could go into that conversation later too. I guess
let's just do it right now. Actually, why couldn't you?
Okay, yeah. But I mean, I tried to stick around. The whole EOC thing with all the combat abilities was like okay. It was taking me a while to get used to, but it was more of the MTX side of things where I kind of just like got really tired of. People were just, you know, paid a winning, so to speak, right? Made me feel like all the accomplishments that I had in the game in terms of like, you know, having a max cape, completionist cape, and all that kind of stuff. People were just passing me over time, and you know, people weren't playing the game. They were just buying their way to it is how it felt. And then just logging in with all the promotions every single day. It just like over time, it just got annoying more than anything. Right.
Yeah.
And then they brought back old school RuneScape. I came back for like a few months with that one. But the job that I had during the time, I was just traveling a lot, so I, you know, stopped playing for like a few years, and I came back around the time Inferno was released, because I started seeing people talk about that, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of fun. Let me go do some of that, and then I just, you know, got back into the game and been addicted since then. Whenever that came out, Inferno at least.
2017 June.
Yeah. So yeah, Jesus, time flies.
It really does. It's been over 7 years since Inferno came out.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is, I mean, I vividly remember just being in my dorm room in college when Inferno dropped, and I'm on my laptop just watching like 4 different streamers simultaneously, failing over and over. And I remember thinking distinctly, I will never step into the Inferno. This is way too difficult. Like, this is, if Wooks can't get this on his first few attempts, I'm never going to get this, you know? But
yeah, same thing. Like, it looked fun, but I was like, I ain't never going to do this.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is cool content. All right, well. And I think part of it as well, it was at that time, like the first month of release, I mean, the first week especially, it just seemed like, okay, only the absolute best of the best will ever get this. That's what it felt like at the time. Just, okay, there's going to be 100 total people with this bad boy cape, and maybe over the next few years when there's new gear and stuff, maybe, you know, 1,000 people have this. That's what it honestly felt like at the time, because we had never seen anything on that level before come into the game where people could not get a completion in the first day. Like, that's just wild.
Yeah, toughest part for me about the Inferno was just the amount of time that it takes to complete it as a first caper, because it's like, you know, like fire cape is one thing. Even first time capers, with depending on their gear, obviously back when we were getting our fire capes for the first time, it was still over an hour and a half, 2 hours of attempts back then. Now, you know, power creep, which is another topic, you know, introduced into the game. Even now with like T-Bows, it was still taking the first timers, you know, 2-ish hour attempts, you know what I mean? So it's just like the time sink to go into it is, I think, like, was the thing that kept me away from it for the most part. I'm just like, oh god, I don't have time in my day to just sit down for 2 to 3 hours to try and get this. And I feel like that's what most people kind of like, it holds them back on maybe. But it's definitely gotten easier with time as we figured it out, you know?
Totally. And I don't think most of us understood that. I mean, you look back at old clips. I've talked about this so many times on casts, but I mean, there wasn't even such thing as tile markers back then. People were dropping vials.
That's true.
And it was just so different. I mean, people didn't... And to be fair, on the first month of release, Inferno actually was harder. If a mage respawned something, it would get off cycle. So you had to actually hide behind a pillar when a mage respawned something, because it would just all of a sudden off-tick with, or on-tick with other things. And so it was kind of a mess. They had to fix that. They did. But, I mean, there were little bugs here and there, or I guess not really bugs, but just, you know, how things function. It didn't really feel as good. And, I mean, you had to honestly discover where the safe spots are. I mean, nowadays, when you do the Inferno, you got a shit ton of guides out there. You got written guides. You got, you know, the HP thresholds when things are going to spawn. When you're going in there fully blind, it's the same thing with the Coliseum. I mean, the Coliseum...
Oh, God, I struggle with that one.
Yeah, no, it's... And the thing is the Coliseum as well. I mean, I was able to get my completion on week 1, luckily, but I would not have been able to do it unless I saw somebody else complete the fight already. Because if you were to enter into the Soul Heredit fight completely blind, 1, you have a shit ton of nerves. 2, you have no idea what's about to happen to you. No idea. And that is so daunting, and that's what the Inferno was. I mean, nobody knew what was going to happen after triple Jads. Nobody knew that there was going
Bad
to be a
hands
Jad
are real
spawning.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Like if you watch my Coliseum video on the completion where I got it, my cursor is just like it's like an earthquake. I swear. It's just like I don't know. Like first attempts at things, especially at the boss. Like the waves are one thing. Got to get comfortable with the invocation with the Coliseum or invocations or whatever they're called, debuffs. That's one thing. But then when you get to the final boss, it's like okay, I finally made it here. Then the nerves kick in. At least for me.
Yep, that's what happens every time.
Oh, and then now that I think about it, we like this is way different to like, you know, a decade or more than a decade ago when, you know, Fire Cape came out and even when the Inferno came out. We have people that are in the community that make those simulators. Have you seen the Coliseum one?
Yeah, they're everywhere now.
It's almost 1-to-1 the same as it is in game. Not exactly, obviously, but it's like the closest we've seen a simulator gets, and they're only getting better.
Yeah, there was actually a person in my chat that came in yesterday, and he said, hey, I got to Zuck for the first time, and I beat it because I did a bunch of simulator runs.
Yeah.
I'm like...
That's nice for, like, a lot of people, too, because it's actually going to make them feel more confident, like, going in there to try it, because they're like, if they do it in the simulator, surely they could do it in the game. So it's going to give them that motivation to actually go and at least attempt to, you know, get through all the waves and actually get the, you know, completion.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of stuff like that. Anything that makes players genuinely better at the game, I think those tools are fantastic. And I'm one of those people that has wanted... This is such a weird example to bring up, but I love traditional God Wars dungeon flicking with melee. I love it. It has like a special place in my heart because as soon as I got an Infernal Cape, I realized like the game is a lot more open to me, and I realized I can learn things and improve. And so one of the first places I went to was Bandos, and I wanted to learn how to melee flick and like pray against all the minions and everything. And one thing that would be so cool is to almost like design your own like God Wars little instance just so you can work on the prayer switching with 3 minions. Because one of the problems is you don't have much time to really drill down on those mechanics of praying against 3 different minions. Because it's so like there's so much going on. Like if you miss a flick, you know, Bandos will just nail you. And I always wanted some sort of area where it's more like sand crabs are attacking you with a range mage and like melee style, so you can get the mechanics down without the daunting nature of just dying if you start, you know, misflicking. And I think simulators are kind of like that, where you get a ton of practice, but there's no real risk, and you can just go right back into it. And I think building up those skills is just really cool, and it's going to help you just improve at the game. So I don't know.
They're always cool to see for sure. And like I said, definitely overall people enjoy. I don't think I've really even seen anyone talk bad about the simulators. Maybe like a couple, but like overall, I think it's like a good thing. It's nice to get people to actually see what the content is like in the end game before going there and wasting supplies and feeling, you know, let down on themselves or whatever reason. They can get those, you know, kind of early nerves out of the way by practicing and seeing how it's like actually like before getting there themselves.
Yep. I totally agree. I think it's good. I think the only argument against it is simply just sort of the gatekeeping. It's kind of like the...
yeah.
I mean, it's gatekeeping. Like, I understand. I can empathize a little bit with that stance. Just simply trying to... I don't know. I feel like people have a different view of the game where the game needs to be, like, really difficult. I, in a way, hold a view similar to that, which is like TOA. I don't like the invocation system of that. I think raids in general should be difficult, and I think they should cater to end game players with end game gear. And there is something to be said about that. I mean, when Theater of Blood was released, that was the most hype content of all time because it had one difficulty, super hard. You needed coordination. You needed people with great gear, great stats. And it didn't have just a level 0 TOB, so all the people can go in and just learn it and you know.
Yeah, the only thing for me to say about that is like I don't disagree with you. What I think they should have done though, and what I This is what I thought it was going to be like when TOA was released, because they did talk about the invocation system before, and even in game, I think even to today, you could go and look at the invocation system and turn things on and off or whatever. The icons for the rewards that you get for the uniques, like the Shadow, Fang, blah blah blah. You can get any unique weapon right now in a 0 invocation raid, but when you turn things on, the icons light up. So to me, it made me believe that you don't even get a chance at getting a certain unique until you get past a certain invocation level. So like, let's say I hoped it was like this, or I wish it was. But like, I don't like seeing people get shadows at like 0 invocations. Like, hey, Gratch, you made some money. And they're like in, rune armor, black D hide. It's like, sure, that's a big ass upgrade, right? But it's just like, I think they should have done is lock certain uniques past certain invocation points. So like, let's say you don't even get a chance at getting a shadow until you're like over 350 invocation kind of thing.
Yeah. I've heard that.
I think that would have been better
a lot too.
That's what it made it seem like to me when they were, talking about it before it was released. I was like, okay, that's kind of neat. But yeah, you could go in there, spam 0 invocations, and eventually you'll get something, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wouldn't be worth the time. My biggest gripe is I love modifiers. I love invocations if they're done well. There are some that are not done well, obviously. But that kind of system I would like more in a mid-game sort of situation. Something like Perilous Moons or something like some dungeon that you go down. But when it comes to end game, I really like the philosophy of TOB, where you just have one difficulty, maybe a challenge mode down the road, and then maybe an entry mode later. So
yeah,
when it drop like
that,
so if,
that I can agree with.
Yeah, so like if Raids 4 were to drop tomorrow, I would love to see Raids 4. There is one set difficulty. It's going to be very hard. People are not going to be getting, maybe some completions day one potentially, but ultimately it's going to be very difficult. But then later down the road, maybe a month later, now there's an entry mode. So the hype is kind of dissipated already. Here's an entry mode for other people to get involved. And then a few months later, we got a challenge mode, or a year later, we got a challenge mode for it or something. Or who knows? Maybe the challenge mode and the normal mode could drop at the same time. But I feel like the challenge mode is better to be designed later down the road, just so we know how difficult to make it. So,
yeah, that'd be a good idea. Raids 4, I want it to be introduced with sailing or after sailing. Imagine you need X, sailing level, whatever it happens to be. Let's just say 80 for, whatever. Imagine you need 80 sailing to get past this whirlpool in the ocean to get to Raids 4, which is going to be underwater, ocean, sea themed or something. Bring back Temperos as a real boss fight. Not saying like the main end boss of the raid, but just a boss so we can actually fight him instead of throwing fish into the water. And then bring back Kraken as a boss in one of the rooms too.
Ooh,
I don't know.
That would be dope. Yeah, and then call it Theater in the Sea. So we got cocks. Ooh. And then we got tits. Go grind some duo tits.
Send that to some mod.
Yeah. No, but that would be really cool. Like a sort of sailing, themed, or not even sailing themed, but just kind of water themed area. Yeah.
And then just use the underwater music from like Ocarina of Time, Water Temple.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, can I just break you? I'm sorry. You brought up the music thing. I just need to bring this up one more time, just on a cast. I've only brought it up on a ramble, but the music system, this music tab, most people don't ever listen to music in this game. And I'll keep this very brief because I know most people don't care. But man, they really need to just full on revamp this music thing. They've done a few changes where they've added like the randomizer and the manual thing, but it's just we need to be able to block tracks. We need to be able to make some playlists on here, and
that'd be kind of neat.
It would be so good because for 2 weeks straight I was playing, streaming 13 hours a day, listening to the OSRS music, and it was cool because you get the ambience, and you get like if you ever get a level up, it plays the level up noise, and then you open a clue scroll and it opens it up. But every time one of those noises rings, it resets the song that was previously playing. So you're constantly listening to the same intro of a song repeatedly every time you level up. That's annoying, and I don't know. Anyways, I'm saying this only because maybe there's a JMod out there that's listening to this and they'll game jam the hell out of this. Please, for the love of God, fix this. But
yeah, I think the only time I use the music player is when I'm doing clues and I have to go to Falador Park.
Yeah, yeah. And then you're not
That's
even
about
hearing
it.
it either because it's still blocked. You just gotta click it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and what's really disheartening is I wanted to enjoy the RuneScape music throughout the game, but I cannot. And that's the reason I bring it up, because if people are like, well, nobody uses it anyway, nobody wants to use it anyways, because
Yeah.
I'm a person that wants to use it, but it's so horrendous to deal with
Oh,
that it's not
speaking
worth
of,
it.
you just reminded me of something too. I forget what live stream it was. This was like several months ago, earlier on in the year. They had Jagex had a live stream, and they had some remixed RuneScape music on their stream, and they said that they were going to release it on Spotify or something like that, and they never did. At least not that I saw.
Mm.
And it was actually like good. Like they had some songs that they were remixed in like D&B style, house themed. But I don't know what ever happened with that. I just remembered like just now.
Yeah, and there had even been people, because the biggest reason why this like upset me is because I wanted to stream with it, and it's all like DMCA free music. Obviously, it's just in-game music, but I like the ambience of it. So the tracks change with the area, and you still get the level up music, because people are like, why don't you just listen to a playlist of OSRS music? It's like, that's not what I want. I want the culmination of the OSRS experience with the music, and they just need to go in, adjust. It's probably so many engine limitations with how they've dealt with music over the years, but man, if they could just nail this and have music playing in this game just feel really good, and be able to block the songs you hate, because there are some just annoying tracks, like Country Jig. Have you ever heard that one?
No,
Don't
that's a
listen.
song.
Do not listen. Yeah, do not listen to it. It'll just piss you off. So like there's songs, and then
Oh, I see.
Korend the Magnificent, like that song is right when I think it's like when you teleport into Korend, wherever that song is. It is so loud, like it just plays, and it's just so annoying. So anyway, that's my end
I
of
think
the
the only
ramble
time
for
I
that.
see like streamers listen to music or like RuneScape music, that is mainly is when it's like a big update day and there's like a new quest or a new raid kind of thing, and then that's the only time I'll really hear streamers listening to the like in-game music, at
Yep.
least for like the first few days, and that's about it.
I mean, there are some gorgeous songs, like gorgeous MIDI songs on this thing. And if you could design your own playlist, just, okay, add to the chill playlist. Boom, boom, boom. You're picking all your favorite tracks. And now you got a beautiful playlist that's only going to play the chill ones that you've selected. And then maybe you're feeling a different mood, so you want all the aggressive ones or the desert themed ones, something like that to
I'm
spice
surprised
things
there's not
up.
like a plugin for it.
Yeah, I don't know if RuneLight would even have the capabilities of doing something like that. I think they would by this point, but that would be huge. Yeah.
That's probably like the next best thing that we're gonna get in terms of any kind of updates to that is if someone made like a plugin off it, and assuming Jagex is cool with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that would. Oh,
I
that would
don't
be
I don't
so
think
good.
they would be against it.
They wouldn't. I just don't know if the engine could handle as because most RuneLight settings are kind of like overlay set. I mean, I guess they do have more like a lot more added functionality nowadays, but I don't know if they could really get into the whole like music system and having songs. So if you got like a level up, it continues the song rather than resetting it. I feel like that alone is such a huge engine problem. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know much about coding.
I could
or
see
anything,
that.
but
There's
yeah.
a lot of things in terms of like functionality and different kind of things in the game. Like for example, the clan settings are very limited.
Yeah.
That could use a huge overhaul as well, and they need to add in a ton of features for sure.
Yep. Okay, so Drum, we need to talk about something that is very important to both of us, which is clue scrolls. What is happening? Earlier this year, they decided to expand the clue drop timer to 1 hour on all clues, and I want to hear your thoughts on what exactly that has caused in the game, and for you personally as a clue scroll enthusiast, and what you like. Do you like that thing? Do you think it's more of a middle ground as I see it, and there could be some improvements made? Do you want it reverted? Like what are your thoughts on this whole clue scroll era that we're in? Because we're going to look back like in a few years from now, people are going to listen to this cast and be like, what are they talking about? Because we're going to have just a brand new clue scroll system at this point. But we're in this weird middle ground, it seems like, where we got this like juggle tech going on. What's going on?
Yeah, I think it's just the start of something that's to come. I really believe that eventually we're going to get stackable clues. I think it's just only a matter of time at this point. I mean, this conversation happens in my stream at least once or twice a week, probably. I feel like it's gotten a lot louder in the sense of the community talking about it ever since leagues began, like the very first one, because technically they do have the capabilities of adding stackable clues in the game right now because it exists in leagues. And ever since then, you know, the conversation has continued from people wanting stackable clues in the game. And the fact that they added the 1 hour timer limit, I'm not sure why they added it personally. It is nice in some cases, I suppose, but it just feels like it's creating extra steps because depending on where you are getting clues, you got to pick them up, drop them, and then that starts the 60-minute timer. But depending on where that is, you got to pick one up, go to the bank, drop one, go back to where you were, and then depending on how many clues you left on the ground, you're just going back and forth. I just did that like not even that long ago at Dagannoth Kings, like a week or so ago. I think I had like 8 hard clues and like an elite clue on the ground. Picked up one of each, teleported to the crafting guild bank, ran my ass all the way back to get the hard clue, and I did that eight times after that, basically. We're just running back and forth. Thankfully, we had the agility shortcuts over there now at DK, so like it's not as bad, but it's still a lot of extra nothing, in my opinion, I guess. Like I said, it's nice in some cases, I suppose.
It feels like you've downgraded to be a UIM or something.
Yeah, it doesn't feel right to me. Like, I utilize it, of course, because it's in the game, and if it's in the game, I'm going to utilize something. Especially if it, slightly benefits me, even though there's like a slight inconvenience factor about it. I don't mind it personally. Like, overall, it's kind of nice, but it's still weird that it even turned it, like, it's still weird that they even added it into the game. I don't really completely understand. My thought process on it was like they're testing something with the clue systems, and eventually, like I said, they're probably just going to add stackable clues into the game. Now, at what capacity, I'm not sure, but I feel like it's just a matter of time at this point.
I agree with you.
Who knows?
It definitely is a matter of time, and I had always been, and I believe you were on Only Trail's little video, because I remember hearing your voice, because he invited me as well, and we're talking about clues, and I think this was kind of before the whole hour timer. Maybe it was right around that point.
I think it was like just before, like maybe like a month before.
Yeah, something like that
time.
And my sentiment at that point, this is before the hour timer, was like I was down to be able to pick up as many clues as you want, but they're not stackable. So you could have 8 hard clues in your inventory. They're all different, and there it is. You just grab as many as you want, but you're still limited. The bank space isn't going to stack them, so you do have a natural like limit to how many you could have. That
kind of like what are they called? Supply crates?
Yeah, it would be kind of like that. The problem is there are issues with that, and the biggest issue is every clue step has a unique ID. So imagine you stack up so many hard clues that now you have a stack in your inventory with 27 of the same ID. So you run with a spade and you have 27 clues that have the same dig spot ID, and then all of a sudden you dig and now you've upgraded 27 clues, just boom, within one dig. So that would obviously be for like the sociopaths that are doing clues. Like I would probably fall in that category as well, but that would be a little bit bad, and so that has changed for me. I'm actually completely on board now with stackable clues, traditional stackable clues, and there could be limits. I don't know where those limits would come from. I think the best form would be when you go to Watson's house and you see your clue rank, and most of us are legends if you've done 1,000+ clues.
Yeah.
Some sort of system with that where that is increasing your clue capacity. But yeah, I don't think it's, and I'm also okay with the reversion, but I know most people are not okay with that. So I'm not even going to go down that road. The reversion of the hour-long stacking or juggling would be fine in my opinion. Yeah, they
can't get rid of it now.
Yeah, they can't. Now. So the only real option now is just give us stackable clues.
Yeah,
just do it.
That's why I think it's just a matter of time, and it might not be this year. I wouldn't be surprised if it's next year at some point, because like I said, it's already in the game. We've already seen it done via leagues. I'm not sure if it's in DMM. I don't play either. but I just know it exists in leagues. But yeah, there's different ways that they can approach it, like you said, in terms of like any limitations. Like they can lock it behind combat achievements or just, the achievement diaries itself. Maybe you can only have a certain amount, like 5 of each tier at a time before you can't get any more, or what. There's a lot of different ways that they can approach it for sure. But I think they're just gonna do it. I don't know why they're kind of like slow crawling with it. In that sense, though, if they do end up adding stackable clues into the game, would we then need to change the classification of clues because technically they are considered a distraction and diversion? And if they made clues stackable, I think they would need to reclassify that. Because like the way I see like distractions and diversions such as clue scrolls, like you're let's say you're PVMing, you get a clue drop, and it's immediately meant to distract you and divert you away from the content that you're doing to go do that clue. If you don't, the penalty is you don't get any more clues of that tier. So if they're stackable, it's no longer distracting you or diverting you away from the content. So would we need to reclassify that as something else? As I mean, most people will just say, oh, they're treasure trails, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, that's still under distraction and diversion. Would it need a reclassification to make sense? Or it's just kind of like, here it is, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they would even have to reclassify it. I think we see the same thing with star mining. I mean, we do have the dedicated clue hunters, including myself and you, and a bunch of other, high-level people that are max and stuff. They're specifically hunting clues at this point. But the average player, even if there were stackable, they would still be distractions and diversions for them because they want to do it. There would be a limit to how many you could stack in the first place. And if you're starting out on the game, you probably don't have that many stacked, regardless. Maybe like a 3. Yeah. Maybe you can only have 3. So it would still
we're definitely in the minority.
Yeah,
for
sure. It would still be a distraction and diversion. It's the same way with like star mining. Star mining people just see a star like I do, and I go mine it. That's fine. That's a distraction and diversion. But there's people that actually just go for like 1,000,000 stardust, and that's all they grind, just stars all day, and it's still considered a distraction and diversion.
Because I'm curious also if like. I mean, I have like an idea of what could happen potentially long-term wise, like if they did add stackable clues, because I'm sure you've talked about this kind of topic in your streams as well, but it's like if they add stackable clues, do you think more people would start doing clues, or do you believe that if they did add stackable clues, it'd be the same? Like the people who don't do clues now aren't going to do them in the future if they do that?
I think more people would be prone to doing clues because it's just going to be a bigger chunk of a break. So if you had 5 stacked mediums, the average player is going to be like, oh, okay, nice. I've hit my limit now. I've gotten my 5. Let's go solve them now. And that, I feel like that will be just a little bit better because a lot of people that are against clue scrolls have one clue scroll hidden in their bank somewhere and they never get another one. And that's just it.
And I'm curious what or how it would affect. I mean, I guess it wouldn't affect Iron Man of any kind, obviously, but the value of clues would potentially go down long term if more people are doing them, which I mean it's already doing anyway. Like prices of implings are like 4x what they were 2 years, and the loot that you get from clues are like down by half basically. I mean, third age is up, but you should never consider yourself getting third age, or anyone that's trying to do clues for money, you should never consider that you're going to get third age. It could very well never happen. But I'm curious if that would do anything long term to the rarity of, Gilded and Third Age. And even if it did, would it be significant, Jesus, words are hard, significant enough to matter long terms in the economy of things for mega rares? I mean, more people doing clues, I'm always happy for more people doing clues because I know I like clues and I want other people to enjoy clue content as well. And it's always nice when someone comes by my streams or comments on my videos like, oh, I started doing clues because I saw your videos or whatever, and I got, this Gilded or this Third Age, and that's kind of cool to see. So more people doing clues isn't a bad thing. But when we talk about the, the mainscape side of things in terms of, how many more Third Age and Mega Rares in general would be introduced into the game, and if that would have a severe or an overall negative impact on the value of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a great question. Like the economics behind it, like how much is it going to be
there you
worth
go. That's
doing
what I was looking for.
Because you're right. I mean, back in the day when people were first starting to really start clogging clues, I mean, you could just make bank. You just buy the implings.
I was profiting off the hard clues.
Yeah. That's crazy. And the thing is, the only reason that was even viable in the first place is because you just got massive gold farming bots or gold farmers and bots that are just camped in Piro. So whenever those get, it's the same thing with the blood shards prices. I mean,
God, those are like 15 million.
yeah, because you got no real players grinding that shit. I mean, yeah, you got the occasional person that has like 8 alts sitting out there just doing it, but most people are not grinding Vires because it's horrendous. It's just painful. Pickpocketing them is way faster, but nobody wants to pickpocket those. And so you got these bot farms just flooding the market with them. And as soon as those get cleared, you really start seeing the price of what these should be at. And it's the same thing with implings. I mean, implings, no real player wants to go catch thousands and thousands and thousands of implings and then sell them. But that's a viable thing now when the impling prices do go up. So I'm kind of just, shouting into the abyss right now. But it's like, I don't personally care about the prices of things. I think everything, the supply and demand just equals out over time. And I think the effect of stackable clues wouldn't be that detrimental. This is my worry. This is something that's kind of different, it's a little tangent, but one of the benefits to like Snowflake account, like Snowflake accounts and Iron Man accounts and special accounts is being able to juggle clues allows these accounts to progress a clue scroll. So they, get 20 mediums and then they try to juggle them and they try to get the steps that they can do. With a system like Stackable, that's not going to be the case anymore. So clues are going to be way, 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 way harder to do if they actually stack. So that is also a concern on Jagex's end, and we as a player base need to decide, like, is this a healthy route to go down? Also, if they're stackable clues, you're not going to be able to do the juggle tech with masters anymore, where you just have one triple step and you just do that repeatedly. And I'm personally okay with that second example I brought up. I'm okay with you not being able to just do the same triple step repeatedly. I just think if they are going to remove that mechanic, they need to make it so those triple steps are maybe less common and also just make them easier. So easier as in get to the places quicker. There needs to be more shortcuts around the game. There needs to be, and they've already started with it. Dragon's Eye now has a nice shortcut there.
I never understood the first shortcut that they added there with just the long rope. I'm like, that saves us like 10 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more than that unless you like fall.
Yeah, I'm over exaggerating, but it's like the shortcut where it's now, it's like it saves like
so nice.
a considerable more amount of time.
And I am even a fan of, like, imagine this. Imagine they were to come out with Master Clue tele orbs or something. I'm pulling something out of like the air right now. Just a new teleport orb thing that comes specifically from Master Clues or maybe other tiers as well that teleport you directly to these triple steps. So they're very expensive, but the people that want to grind out clues can now do it in a convenient way that is costing them money. So imagine there was a straight up orb that teleported you right to the Dragon's Eye. Like, just boom, you use it. The thing costs 200k to use or 300k, but you're instantly there and you can dig up that triple. Who knows? Maybe they're even cheaper than that. I'm something where you're paying for convenience. So it's adding more value to clue scrolls. So those lower levels that get these new teleport orbs, maybe they're specifically designed for the triple step things. Again, this is me spitballing. I'm not saying this needs to come out into the game, but it's me just bringing up ideas where the rich people that want to have maximum convenient can now pay for it. And so, people that are doing other clue scroll tiers are getting these orbs and selling them to the rich players that want to do it. I think that's a beautiful thing. I love it when there's teleport locations that are really expensive teleport things. Like, imagine if the Serb scrolls, whatever those things are called, the Keymaster teleports, were able to be traded. Those would be those would come at a huge cost.
I literally save all those scrolls for my master clues. I like when I'm killing Serb trying to go for the pet, I just walk there. I don't even care.
Oh damn,
I save them all for the master clues.
Save them up, yeah.
But it's funny you mentioned about that because they have that in RS3.
Really? Just
you didn't know that?
What?
So
yeah, explain.
And someone like in your comments or whatever can correct me if I'm wrong, but how I remember doing clues, because before I quit RS3, I did clues, right? Mm-hmm. I think before I left, I stacked 1,000 elite clues and then opened them, and then I quit. Like after that, I still never even did the master clues. I just throw them in the bank. But when you complete clues in RS3, you earn points per clue that you do, and you get a different amount of points per tier of clue. And eventually, you can buy like a clue hunter outfit, right? And like I forget if it's like the legs or the boots or the top or whatever, but you can like right click it, and depending on what clue step that you're on in your inventory, you can literally right click and teleport, and it takes you immediately there. And it has a certain amount of charges, and then you get those charges back by doing more clues. So they have that
That's so
in
dope.
some sense in RS3 already. And then they also have they have different kind of clues like puzzle boxes and other types of cryptic knot steps and a whole bunch of things I can't remember. Not a whole bunch, but a few more. But you're gonna also get rewards by opening caskets in RS3, and you get basically what's a teleport tab, but it's like a ticket that you can use to skip a puzzle box if you don't want to do it.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it'll count it as solved, and you don't have to do any of that.
As much shit as I talk about with RS3, they have some brilliant ideas, and I've had people on Wazzy, Mikaru on the cast just earlier, and Mikaru is like a huge clue doer, and he was talking about just how fun clues are in RS3. And
Yeah, they have a whole community. One of my admins in my Discord and clan is actually an admin for their Clue community in RS3, and I think they're actually getting ready for like an end of the summer Clue opening where they're gonna have like hundreds of people open up thousands of clues each, kind of thing.
that's so cool, dude. And Alkin, when I had him on the cast, he was talking about there's like the Clue Hunter outfit apparently there bypasses your need to go to stash units. It acts as
Oh, I didn't
the
know that.
items. Yeah, that sounds
God,
amazing.
that'd be nice for Fallow.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it would work. Well, Fallow, first of all, needs a stash unit there. So
Yeah,
that would be dope. Like, you just left click the stash unit, it pulls out exactly what you need right there. Boom, you're done. That would be great.
I think at a certain point you show Fallow like the same item like 100 times. It's like, you're good. I know you got it.
You're good. Yeah. I think he has brain damage. He can't remember if you've had this. But yeah. But okay, so skipping steps, that would have to become an essential thing, I believe, if we were to go down the stackable route, simply to cater to those that are enjoying the benefits of being able to juggle clues and skip steps that they just can't do. So some sort of skip system would be so nice. And especially if you're like a hardcore Iron Man or something that doesn't want to go into the deep wildy and a multi-spot, maybe there's an option to skip that step. Boom. So you're saving them up strategically for those. It would also be amazing for mains. This benefits all player types. If you don't want to do a certain clue step, like agility pyramid, boom, skip, done. Never have to do it again because you're going to save up your skips for that.
Oh man, I've been collecting all those pyramid tops.
That is the worst step, by the way. Like, dear God, it's so bad. But yeah, if they were to add something like that would be huge. And I mean, the clue hunting outfit just sounds dope, especially if it was like some sort of attachment to like graceful or something as well. Not like that's really necessary at later levels because you just have so many pools and stams and stuff. But yeah,
I think at some point we're gonna get another clue expansion. Shit, I don't know how many people ask you. I was like, what do you think about Grandmaster clues being added into the game? I get that question every once in a while. It's always interesting to come up with fun, awful ideas of what the steps would be for Grandmaster clues. Like, imagine they're only dropped from the Mimic for one at like a 1 in 100 chance or something, you know?
I always enjoyed the idea of like sacrificing a master casket for so it would be like you open a master casket and that's the way you get Grandmaster clue scrolls. You would open it and it would say, oh, you need to sacrifice this casket to obtain the Grandmaster clue. Do you want to proceed? The loot? Yeah.
Would you like to sacrifice this 30H pickaxe for a Grandmaster clue?
Yes, please. No.
Because that'll happen one day. I'm ready for the Reddit post.
Yeah. My idea with Grandmasters, I don't want it to be tedious. I don't even want it to be like a 8 to 10 step clue, but it needs, I guess it would be like a 7 to 9 step. I don't want it to do that. I just want it to be like a 1 step, something, or even 3 steps, like maximum, where it's just something where, okay, boom, dig here. Here's the step. Dig here and prepare for a challenge. So you run over. You have a time limit. Let's say it's something that's feasible to get to, and all of a sudden you get there, you dig, and now you have
Zuck spawns.
three Jads that just spawn, and you have to be
That'd be
prepared.
kind of sick. Just that idea is kind of nice.
Yeah, and it's just something
Prepare for
so
anything.
quick. You go there, but the pressure's on because if you die, you lose it. But it's still doable. You just can't mess up and stuff. It's still a feasible thing to be able to do, but it's just the excitement of it, and it's knowing like, okay, this isn't a tedious grind. It's not like go show an infernal maxscape to fallows and none of that bullshit. It's just this is going to be a quick challenge that's going to test you. And maybe there's also just a puzzle box immediately beforehand or something where if you click, it'll still have a RuneLite plugin, but let's just say you mess up one time, it just locks you out of it and just disappears. So everything's doable, but there's a little bit of stress to it.
If you fail one step, you lose the Grandmaster clue.
Yeah, just something where it's like, okay, this is stressful and not overly stressful, but stressful enough. It's quick though, and as soon as you get it, extra loot is coming your way, and it's going to just be amazing.
Now, if they add Grandmaster clues, are they going to expand on mega rares? Because I think in RS3 they have second age items along with third age. Oh god, man! It's like instead of completing the log in 100 years, it's now 1,000. Good luck.
I don't think we're at a point where we ever need to even think about second age. Personally, because I think there's just more third age items to come out with. I want third age boots. I want third age gloves. I want third age crossbow, third age d'hide shield, like third age two-hand sword. Like there's just things that could still come out in the third age department.
As long as they don't mess up elite clues again for 3 years or however long it was.
It was the worst. And nobody knew about it for a couple years. Yeah, no, I don't think second age is necessary. What do you think? Would you want second age?
Nah, I don't think we need it at all.
Yeah. I
think they would talk about it like behind the scenes and maybe bring it up in like a blog post to get, people's opinions, I suppose, but I don't think we need it. But what we do need, I'll tell you what we need from a Mimic. We need like a 1 in 25 chance to drop a transmog for the Bloodhound pet to turn my Bloodhound pet into a Mimic.
Thank you. Amen to that. That's what we need. Amen to that. Oh my God, please.
I'll stop everything that I'm doing and just do clues again.
That would be
I'm
amazing.
Still pet hunting, but I'll just do clues.
Like that makes like too much sense. Ultimately, like you just get the Mimic dust. Instead of a mahogany plank, here's your Mimic dust. Boom, got it.
Man, I'd love that.
That would be a really cool pet, too. That'd be dope.
All the people who have done like 200 master clues and haven't even gotten one Mimic are going to be stressed out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, even if it was just something where it's like a guaranteed after 50 Mimics. So it's more of a Vorkath style thing where you will guarantee get it at a certain point, but you could also get it beforehand, something like that. So if you've already done your 50 Mimics and this thing were to come out, it's like, okay, you have it. Or 100 Mimics or whatever it would have to be. I think 50
okay,
is
I was
appropriate.
about to say, I looked at mine. I'm at 87. We're good.
Yeah. I was thinking like 50 is probably appropriate to guarantee it. I don't know. What are your thoughts on guaranteed drops, by the way? Like the KQ Tattered Head and the Vorkath Head and stuff like that. That's untradeable.
I say for like some things, it can be okay. Like the KQ Tatterhead, I think that's fine. I think it's definitely fine for the Fasani's Nightmare tablet teleport thing. Seeing people go like 800 KC Fasani's and not get the teleport there is pretty awful. So things like that is okay. When it comes to like actual like uniques or like pets, for example, no. I don't like the idea of that.
I just thought of the perfect idea. In order to get the Mimic Dust guaranteed, you must kill the Mimic in 10 seconds or less.
Hold up, what's my PB?
What is it? Oh, crap.
Exactly 10 seconds.
Perfect. You got it. Something where it's manageable, but you do need to show that you're a badass. You got to have really good gear. Maybe that could be it, because then it's not real. I mean, it still is RNG ultimately, but it's not like just do a shit ton of Mimics and hope you get lucky. It's like, just have really good gear and try, and then you'd have the Molgo Kirby guide come out that's like, use Darox and use the fucking Gmaul and the Dragon Knife spec and whatever the hell else. So
and within 2 or 3 ticks, he's like switched gears 10 times.
Yeah, no, seriously, like time your thralls perfectly and everything. So I think that'd be great. Actually, that would make it more interesting as well. So
Whatever we need to get the mimic pet in the game as a transmog, I'm for it.
okay. What are your thoughts on Clue Scroll expansions now, though? Because this is something I bring up a lot. The collection log came out end of 2018, and that has completely changed the landscape of adding new items to things. We were able to freely add new uniques to Clue Scroll tables. It was all fun and games. There was no problem with it. But nowadays, if you did that, if you were to add 20 new uniques to mediums, people would riot in Falador.
See, like, I have both mindsets in this regard in terms of like pro and con. For like one part of my brain is like, cool, more content for me to do, right? The other side of it is like, ah, shit, here we go again. But it's like, it's not necessarily a 100% negative thing. I'd say like the people who would be mostly against it are the people who are like the extreme collection loggers, especially if they were to add like more uniques to like, all the tiers, right? From like, easy or beginners and up to masters or whatever. And when we start getting to like, the hard clues, depending on what the drop rates of those things are, oh man, it's like adding in who knows how many hundreds of hours kind of thing for those that actually want to go for collection log things, which again is not necessarily a bad thing. We all choose the kind of content that we want to do in game. So if, you want to go for 100% collection log completionist, like a couple of the guys are doing right now. They've got everything in the game except for mega rares on Clue Scroll. So now they're literally specifically hunting Gilded in Third Age, but that's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, I feel like, those people would be against it because that adds in, like I said, who knows how many hours, hundreds or thousands or years even to even complete the collection log. I think even right now, as it stands, I don't think it's even feasible in the next like, another 20, 30 years, right? Unless they get like some ungodly luck to get, all Third Age, assuming no dupes, right? I'm for new content, but at the same time, it's also like, damn, I'm going to be playing this game for life, which is also not a bad thing.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I've already been playing 20 years, so what's another 20?
Yeah, what's another 40? Yeah, it's kind of it's a tough call because collection log really has gate kept us in a lot of different ways that were kind of unforeseen consequences of adding the collection log. I think it's still a net positive overall, but with things like Clue Scrolls,
it's just more content in the game.
You really can't just be throwing new uniques in there because it's just upsetting. People want to feel a sense of completing something. They want to be like, okay, I grinded hundreds of hours of medium close. I want to be done. Like I green logged. I don't ever want to go back. And so when there's a random update one month that's like, oh, here's 20 new uniques. Like that's not a good feeling because then you're gonna feel like you constantly just want to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait because you're just losing time. The only way something could work is if you had like a re-roll system with caskets, and I think RS3 has something like that, right?
Yeah, they do, yeah. I think after, I'm not sure how it works. You open X amount of caskets, you earn a re-roll every so often. I think it caps it to 3. But you get it back pretty quickly.
Yeah, I feel like the only way would be to like retroactively give people re-rolls or something. And so like let's just imagine this would be so game breaking, but just imagine somebody, oh my god, can you imagine like Flash Voyage with like fucking banked up 70 million re-rolls? No, but like if they were to do something like, okay, here's 20 new uniques, here's 20 new flavors of boaters in the medium table that we're just throwing in there for fun. The re-rolls
that would be dumb uniques and items like that. Nah, we don't need any more of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I
they'd have
kind of
to
agree
somehow
with
be
you.
meaningful, but I don't even know what meaningful would be for clues. Like I think clues are in a good spot right now.
I
Unless,
think,
man, it's tough.
It's
tough to think about.
This is something I would like to see, and I think most people that aren't just fully set on their ways and can't see the benefits of this, I'm thinking of like really dedicated cloggers. Like Basilogist, if you were to add anything, he's going to get pissed off, even if it's for the greater good of the game. Like I could just tell, like I would just get so infuriated. and for good reason. You know, he's a clogger. He's a dedicated clogger. But for the greater good of the game, something that would be amazing is to add valuable uniques to the step. So if we were to have a clue scroll expansion thing, something that would be cool is like elites having an actual nice, I don't know, some sort of, like, one of the things they added to mediums was like the spiked manacles, which is an actual powerful upgrade at early game stuff because it's 4 strength bonus. And so it's a valuable thing. It's not just a boater that has no use. It's a legitimate thing that pures wanted to go for and other account types want to go for. The Fremenic kilt from the elites is also nice, but something that could come, maybe just add 2 or 3 different uniques to these tiers that are valuable rewards that actually have stats to it, fill niches in gear. I think that would be a really cool way to go about it, because then it's not just going for 20 new boaters. It's, okay, yes, my log isn't greened anymore, but at least I'm hunting a really cool item that's got a lot of value, and we all have to do it. You're seeing it as like, everybody that's green log this, we all have to go back. But this is going to be fun because we're hunting one cool item that's worth mills, you know?
Yeah, as long as it's like a meaningful addition, then it, you know, it could be fine. But if, like you said, if it's like just boaters, then no one cares, right?
Yep. Yeah, interesting. It's going to be interesting seeing how those stackable clues end up coming into the game when they do, because I'm with you. It's an inevitability at this point.
Yeah, even though I would probably be against it if they pulled it. I you know, I said earlier I'm in the minority in that thought. So it's just gonna happen. That's how I feel. And I'm not against it in a mean kind of way. I'm just like, I'm gonna do clues regardless. I don't need them to be stackable for me to do them, you know?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make a difference to me if they added it into the game or not. That's basically it.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I need to obviously reach out to him directly, but do you know how Hey Jase feels about going from this whole juggle meta to stackable clues? I know we're both fans of his content. I haven't been able to tune in for a while because I've just been so addicted to my hardcore. Does he? Because I know we all three have kind of always been against stackable nature of clues, but with the new stuff, I feel like we're all kind of changing our mentalities on stuff just because the juggle method is just so weird. Do you know what he thinks about it?
I can't say 100% for sure. I know he's definitely against the stackable clues. I don't know if his opinions changed on that since the last time we specifically talked about clues. In terms of the clues on the ground for an hour, I'm not sure on his stance on it. If anything, he probably finds it annoying, kind of like how I do. But just like it felt like a meaningless update to me, but hard to say what he would think on it. I suppose I would lean on the side that he's probably against it.
That's what
but I also feel like he'd be like the same thing where I do. Is like, if it's in the game, I'm going to utilize what's in the game just because it's in the game, and if I'm not utilizing it, then I'm putting myself at a disadvantage, so to speak. Because if everyone else is doing it and I'm not, it's a slight disadvantage. But in this regard, for the topic of clues on the ground for an hour, I don't know, it's just kind of like a pointless update kind of thing, like wasn't needed.
One of the things that Jase, just because we're on the topic of him, he made a Twitter post, and he usually doesn't do stuff like this. He usually just kind of keeps to himself and has his ideas. One? Yeah, the elite clue, where it's really trying to standardize the rates of elite clues across the game. And I think what he proposed, at least, was a little bit like overkill, but it's painting the picture of like, we need more options in grinding these clues, and so we don't have just one dominating meta that's so much better than everything else, and you're feeling obligated to go there, but you have a big variety of things to choose from for those endgame players that are specifically grinding clues. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's the tweet was a while ago. I remember. I think it happened after, or at least during the time when he was like specifically like when he switched from hard clues to elite clues. He's back to doing hard clues now. Mainly at least, but when he was stacking, I think he was like doing 125 elite clues every couple of weeks, something like that. And he was solely doing Urium shades, however you pronounce that.
Yep.
The Shades of Morton area, for anyone that doesn't know that. And I think that's still like the absolute best place to get clues. I think there was, I don't know if you know about it, but there was like the last month, maybe even shorter than that, people were doing or at least when I found out about it, people were massing Callisto in the wilderness,
That's still an
and getting
amazing
those.
method for people. For
Okay, it's
Iron Men
still a thing.
especially. Yep.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it was still a thing because I'm not sure if because I know it's supposed to be quote unquote secret. So my bad if I'm
No,
mentioning
no,
it
no.
now.
I
But there
think
was
it
also another
was.
video.
I think it was a bit more secret. Nowadays, like people are just doing it. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
open.
So basically, people going out to the wilderness and masses Callisto, and you get like, as long as you're wearing a Ring of Wealth imbued, the drop rate for the clues out there is a 1 in 100. But with the Ring of Wealth imbued, it's 1 in 50, and the kills are so fast. You get so many clues. I think Tweaky was coming in, um, and he was getting like 50 elite clues a day. Maybe not that many, but it was a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's, I guess, now the best method. But if you don't want to go in the wilderness or go to Callisto in general, then Urium Shades is like the second best thing in terms of clues per hour, because I
And,
think you
and
can get up to like 1 point whatever specific number it is clues an hour, depending on RNG, of course.
yeah, I think it's close to like, well, with Urium Shades, I think it's like 2.2 if you're like
Oh,
super,
okay,
super,
okay.
super sweaty. Maybe it
Yeah,
was 1.8.
tick manipulating and
Yeah.
everything.
With Callisto, people are saying you can get about, if you have a solid 10-man team and you're not getting interrupted repeatedly, it's kind of like one elite every like 35 minutes. That's what I've heard. There still is Barrows. Barrows has gotten a lot better because of the Strange Old Lockpicks and Max Mage. It's still not even up there. I think it's still like 1 an hour maybe. And then you also got Lava Dragons that I've seen people. I know Casey has been streaming Lava Dragons. I don't know how recently, but you pull out a cannon there and you just, have a crossbow or whatever the scepter is, and you're just annihilating those out there, and you get a bunch of elites per hour as well. And then there's also like alting Sarachnis, which is really good too still. But
Yeah, I liked Jason's tweet about just bringing up the topic of having more competitive rates for elite clues specifically across the game, rather than it being centered around one or two pieces of content. That's just the meta,
yeah,
because it doesn't have to like necessarily compete or be better than the ultimate methods of like Urium Shades or Mass Callisto or whatever, but at least competitive to the point in having different options available to people who like different kinds of content
totally.
as well. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Like you get those clues that fast in those places for elites, and then other places, if you want to get an elite clue, it's like 1 in 500 something drop rate for somewhere else. So you get like a clue every like day or something like that.
Yeah, it's bad at some places. It's just out of control, obnoxious. This is a really funny example because it's not elites, but it's for medium clues. But I was doing Trouble Brewing because Trouble Brewing got updated back in May, and it's just disgusting cooking XP per hour now, especially on low levels. It's crazy. But with pieces of 8, you get 100 pieces of 8 per round, and the rounds are 20 minutes. So it's over an hour to get 300 pieces of 8. And I was like, oh, you can buy medium clues with pieces of 8 now. Like, you can just straight up buy clue scrolls from this minigame. I was like, that's going to be really dope. And then I looked at the price. 5,000 pieces of 8 for one medium clue. Like, the
Yeah, I
fuck
don't
is that?
understand how or who decided the rates for clue drops in a variety of different places across the game. It's kind of interesting.
It's like a full day of grinding that for a medium clue. Like, what?
It's kind of like in a lot of places, it kind of feels like, okay, we need to add clue to this place. Pick a number from like 500 to 1,000. There you go.
Yeah. It's like, holy shit. But it's cool. I want to ask as well, what is your favorite tier to complete? So just try to completely eliminate the idea of the rewards in mind, but what is your favorite tier to actually like go and complete, like steps wise?
Steps wise, probably medium clues. It's so chill.
And there's
Like
no
you don't
will
even
be,
have to go
so,
into the wilderness.
yeah.
Yeah. That's like the main reason, especially like if I'm streaming. Like there's been a handful of times where I'm like opening clues on stream, and then there's a step in the wilderness, and someone's just they're watching and they're waiting. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's happened like a few times. But I got to the point where like even like no matter what step it is, if it's like a 10-second or 5-second step clue out in the wilderness, I deposit everything, bring like a blowpipe, a spade, and that's it. And maybe like a teleport out unless I'm gonna go die by some PVM method and get out of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I made that into a habit, but it's happened. But yeah, medium clues would be like most fun for me, and then I'd probably do hard clues right after that because I really like the hard clue tier overall because that's like the first tier, and I am factoring in drops in this point, but it's the first tier where you can actually start to get some mega rares and just that just makes it more fun because like just the thought of doing it, I'm just like, oh, this could be a Gilded or a third age that I don't have. You never know, so it makes it more fun for me to actually like go through the clue.
Yeah, I personally actually enjoy doing elite clues. The actual steps I enjoy because there's so many chill ones that are so quick. Like activate chivalry, for example. It's just like, what the hell is this? Like there's so many that are so incredibly quick, and there's very few wildy steps as well. So it feels like hards on a different level. If only the elite rewards were actually like way more powerful, it would actually feel really good. But I love just solving elites. I think they're just extremely chill.
Yeah, I haven't done too many elites. Maybe that's why. I guess I didn't.
Yeah, you got to be familiar with them.
Yeah, because I have like I'm like under 300 done. I barely started doing them like this year, but I go super slow with it. I'm not like specifically grinding out elite clues. I just go pet hunting, PVMing, and whenever I get an elite clue, and then I just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every time I get to 100, that's when I plan on opening. So I don't have too much experience, so to speak, in that regard.
Do you consider yourself a clogger in the basic sense of the word?
Me, no, I don't really consider myself that. Like, I go for, like, just pet hunting and, mega rares from clues. And I've gotten a lot of collection logs in that time. Like, I'm sitting at 1,013. But if you looked at my log, I'm missing, like, so many very easy, no time kind of things. But I just, like, technically, like, it's cool to see the collection log, message pop up and see the number get higher. It's kind of cool. But I don't go for it, So I don't really consider myself a clogger, so to speak. Maybe one day, if I meet one of my goals, which may not even happen, either I get all pets caught up, in the game before they release any new ones, or I get all third age and gilded from clues, and then if I have that, that free time on the side, then I'd start probably doing some more collection log stuff.
What are the pets? Well, first of all, how many pets do you have, and what are the pets that are scaring you to go for?
The only ones that would really like scare me to go for, maybe Corp, because long grind, and then maybe Zuck, because not necessarily a long grind, but until I get way better at it, I'm probably still looking at like 2-hour attempts for each one. And assuming, if I get to 100 KC and I don't have the pet, there's 200 hours, that are right there. So not necessarily like doing the content, but it's just like the amount of time it's potentially going to take before I get it kind of thing.
What are your pets looking like so far? Like what's the driest you've gone on one and what's the luckiest?
The luckiest. Oh, wait. When's this cast going out?
Tomorrow, or maybe potentially tonight.
Oh, okay. Luckiest one. I don't know then. Here, wait. Let me. How far are we into this cast? How many hours?
We're an hour in. A little over an hour. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Luckiest probably actually, you know what? TOA 70 KC 150 invocation on like day 4 or 5 of release. That's probably luckiest. I did get a day 1 pet with Scurious, but that was like 400 something KC. But I think TOA was probably luckiest because we didn't really know drop rates of anything or how it worked in there at the time. So it was kind of neat to get like a that pet so quickly in the first week of release of TOA. And my longest dry streak, people that watch me, like my videos or like come to my streams, they know it's Sarachnis. I'm almost at 10.1 thousand KC. No pet yet.
Ooh.
And for anyone that doesn't know, it's a 1 in 3,000 drop rate. So I'm just a little dry.
And what's are there any pets that you, so what's the worst pet that you actually have received rate wise? Like what's the longest you went?
Ooh. Because there have been a couple pets that I went dry for. Like Vorkath I went dry for, which was like 5.2 thousand KC. And then KBD I also got around like 5.2, 5.3 thousand KC. So those ones I went just a little bit dry for. But like on rate, KQ for sure, actually. Cowfight Queen. I got that one just over the drop rate at And 3.6 thousand KC, but you know, it's a
But
1 in
still grind.
3K. I
Yeah.
went 600 over. That one was not too fun until the shadow came out, and then the shadow made it nicer.
Yeah. See, you know what's crazy is you hear of people like Casey going 6,000 for a
Oh
bloodhound,
God,
or
yeah,
what was it like 18,000? I don't even know what it was for his court pet. It was something crazy. And then I'm pretty sure his BA pet luck, and I think his chambers. Like I don't know, but all the super 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 long grinds, pet grinds, he went like dry for, which is just absolutely painful.
yeah. I've only gotten. I still need to go to chambers and top, so I'm hoping those
Oof.
ones don't go over rate. But hopefully, I at least make some money along the way.
Yeah, chambers can be a bitch. That one can take a long, long, long time. Okay.
Oh, and then BA. I have to say, I'm not looking forward to that one at all. I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy BA at all.
that one sounds. That's like something you'd like. In order for that to be fun, you really have to get involved in the BA Discord or something like that, and like start making money from it. Like,
Yeah, and then if you don't do that, then you have to rely on not just one other person, but four other people,
yep.
to get you through it. And if you go with randoms, you're gonna have a bad time.
Oh
And
yeah.
even if you go with friends, it's gonna be hard to keep people around longer than like maybe an hour, and then you might need to find a replacement, which isn't the worst thing, but it just makes that grind that much longer, having to find new people, new teammates, because you have to you cannot go by yourself. You can't do it solo. It has to be with 5 people total.
Would you be a fan of adding pets to previous content? For example, barrows or pest control or things like that?
I wouldn't be against that. I actually want a Barrows pet, and I'm surprised they didn't add a pet to
Moons.
what? Yeah, Moons. There you go. And they didn't even add elite clues over there.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. It definitely is a great moneymaker for like mid game because there is no pet and
Yeah, I think
clues.
that's like their main reason why not or why they didn't add any.
It's funny they have to do that though. It kind of sucks in a way, but it's just like, yeah, they're trying to have a piece of content that's actually like profitable for mid levels because it's just so. I can imagine it on the dev team it being so hard to balance things where you want
Yeah,
this to be catered toward just mid game or early game, and then you just got these maxed just degens just
Curious day one.
annihilating the
Full
place.
form
Yeah,
of Scythe.
exactly. Yeah. Dude, by the way,
They're not wrong though.
can I just say like how amazing Scurious is when you're actually a low level? Like I was having a great time because you actually have to work on the mechanics, and the mechanics are actually pretty fun, and the rewards are good when you're a low level. Like getting a rune chain, that goes hard early game. So
Yeah, being max, just bring like a blood fury switch when you get kind of low HP. If you get low HP and that kind of,
yeah,
you just AFK. You don't have to dodge or avoid anything.
it's so funny. But no, I mean, Scurious, honestly, shout out. That was a great addition to the game because now I've seen both sides. I've seen the chillness of it as a maxed player, and I've seen the beauty of it as like a low level player training there. Because that's how I got 70 range on my account so quickly. You're getting like 100k range XP an hour at like level 60. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's really good.
So
Well,
the other,
speaking of moons,
yeah,
though, sorry for
yeah, go.
the topic of the pets real quick. Instead of adding a pet there, what they should do, and this is was I'll state this is not my idea. I saw it on Reddit for whoever posted it, but someone had a cool idea for having a drop to change or to add a transmog to thralls into the moon's bosses, like mini versions of them.
Ooh,
So I forgot who brought it up. You can probably search it on Reddit. But it was from like a couple months ago or so. But I thought that was a really cool idea.
that would be amazing. That'd be so cool. One of the things I wanted to talk about as well was just overall like health and fitness. It seems like you're on your fitness arc lately. I've seen is it squats and push-ups you do on stream? I can't remember what I saw. What was that?
I've done that once, but that was
Okay.
during you know how I used to do the Drunk Barrows events?
Yeah.
For anyone, yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, basically we go to Barrows once a month and we just drink and just have fun. That's it. There's usually a prize pool involved, so we have like a good turnout of people just competing to whoever gets the most uniques. After 4 hours, will win prize pool. It's pretty fun. But ever since I started doing all the health stuff or whatever, I changed it to Buff Barrows. So after a certain amount of chest that I open, I'll do exercise, so to speak, whether it's like push-ups or curls or whatever it is, right? And then if I get a certain unique, then I do another kind of exercise. So I just changed it. Instead of just drinking for 4 hours straight, we're kind of drinking water and getting buff for 4 hours straight, so to speak, right? I thought it'd be funny, and since I started the whole health thing, I was like, I got to do something. I can't keep doing the drunk barrows even though it's only once a month, and just drinking for 4 hours is not too good,
That's so. Do you drink now that you're on your health journey?
I've had, I think, months ago, 2 or 3.
Okay.
So not as much as I did before, and even before I only actually drank during those events. I never actually drank in between or at home, just whatever. Maybe socially if I went out.
Mm-hmm.
So like dinner or something like that, but that's about it. I never really drank at home until I started doing those events.
So what inspired it? Because we were talking before the recording of just, when you're full peak degen scaping, you start noticing things like the weight gain and this, we were talking, I was mentioning that back in my peak degeneracy, I wasn't drinking enough water, wasn't moving enough. So my ankles were like getting swollen because I was just sitting all day, and I was cutting off a circulation in my legs, just sitting there, and just horrible. And I was 24, 25, which is just like the worst thing to be seeing, like health consequences when you're still in your early 20s. But what inspired the change?
The same thing. So I've only talked about this with like maybe a couple people like that I'm friends with, like Purity knows, and a couple other my like admins / mod team for my clan and Discord community or whatever. But it was back on, I actually remember the day. It was like March 1st, like that morning, at like 3 or 4 a.m. I had just like woken up from sleep, and it like. The reason why I woke up is because like I felt like my chest was just like racing, like it jolted me awake. So I wasn't sure what was going on. Like I wasn't sure if it was like a heart attack or something like that, right? Or what was going on. So I kind of like I probably should have gone to the hospital right then and there, but I waited. I kind of waited a week, and then I went. Like it wasn't as severe as like that morning, but it like continued through that week. Like every day, it wasn't like painful. It was just like there's something that feels off, right? Like something doesn't feel right. And I still get it now, but it's gotten way less. I'm not sure it's because I started, being a lot more healthier, drinking a lot of water. I go on walks every other day now where I walk, 10,000 steps a day. I, manage my food. Like I count everything, weigh everything out in terms of like the macros, and I try to make sure that I know what I'm eating and stuff like that. But I did go to the like an urgent care place, and they did some blood works. They ran an EKG on me and some X-rays and stuff like that, but they found nothing.
Really?
But I'm just like, I'm even like more confused now because it's like, I don't know what the hell it was, or
just like
is
heartburn?
right?
Just like bad heartburn or
No,
what? Like Jesus.
I mean, maybe I never experienced heartburn before, but like the fact that I was feeling it every day, and even now, like every once in a while, I feel it. It's just not as consistent as it was when it started, and it's not as severe as when it started. But I mean, they didn't find anything, so I had no answers, or I have no answers, right? So I was like, the only thing that I can do probably is start to be more healthy, right? Like get off my ass basically and go walk. And I started researching online. It's like, oh, what can I do? Because I've worked out before. I used to be in better shape, like pre-COVID, I think it was. I was like 150 something pounds, and then at the beginning of this year, like in January, I remember weighing myself. I was like 198, so I gained like 40-50 pounds, and that's kind of like what I was. I think I was like 195 or 196 when I had the whole chest thing back in March. And now I'm down to 165, so I've lost a good amount of weight. But I was like, ever since then, I was like, I need to do something instead of just playing RuneScape all day. And I work from home too, and sitting on my chair all day. Probably not the healthiest thing, and I don't know if that was like a sign of just being so unhealthy and doing nothing. So I was just like, I got to do something. So I just started, exercising. Even if the exercising is just walking, it's still a lot.
It's
a lot more than what I was doing, right? So.
It's so much, and I don't think when you're in a state where you haven't exercised in so long, at least for me, I didn't think walking did much at all. I thought you had to run, or I thought you had to like jog, or I thought you had to sprint or something to actually get some benefits. But oh my God, dude, I'm the same with you. Like I lost like 30 pounds within a matter of months. I mean, like 6 months, just walking and just being a little bit more mindful about what I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
It's
like
crazy.
Just counting. It's not fun to count calories or macros or anything like that, but I feel like for me, it's helped a lot as well on top of things. Because I've been told by people, like I have friends who are like into fitness, right? And they're like personal. I have like 2 friends that are personal trainers, or used to be, and they're like just walking is a whole lot, like can do a whole lot for you. And then it's more so about what you eat than what's like how you're exercising.
Yep.
Because like you can't. I don't know if you heard the phrase. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's like you can't outrun a bad diet, so to speak. So it's like majority of how you're gonna be healthier or lose weight is gonna be what you eat, than all the exercise that you're gonna be doing. Because you can exercise for like 2-3 hours straight, but then if you go out and go get some fast food, that's like 2,000 plus calories right there, depending on what you're getting. Most people don't even look at the nutrition information when they're ordering food and shit. I still don't to this day, right?
And it's totally shocking when you actually see how much you did. Like it's almost like you're in disbelief of how much you actually just ate. You're like, oh, okay. Like, do I actually believe I just ate 2,500 calories in those 8 slices of fucking pizza I just ate? They were small slices. Yeah.
So now, I still go out and eat fast food and stuff like that. Maybe not as much as I did before, but like if I go out to a restaurant and I order like a burger and fries, I'll immediately, well, not immediately, but I'll eat half of the food and ask for a to-go box and eat the half the next day.
Genius.
So I'm not eating like the whole thing all at once,
Portion control is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I always love hearing when people kind of just like start working on just having a more active lifestyle, because that's the process I went through. I was peak degen, didn't care at all, started seeing some health consequences of it. I wasn't I barely had any energy either, just so like lethargic all the time. And then so making that switch is always amazing to hear. And one of the OGs on the scene, Automelogy, he was a great inspiration to me as well. Like when he started just getting jacked, because he was a little bit different. He was super, super skinny gamer, and he wanted to get, fit and stuff. So seeing transformations like that is always just amazing, and I love hearing about it. And you're right about the calorie counting too. I mean, people ask me like if I calorie count. I haven't calorie counted since high school, but I did calorie count for a time, and I think that's like really essential to do it at least for several months in your life. Just so
you gotta eyeball it afterwards, and you kind of get a sense of things for sure.
It's so important, and I'm always
like for me, one of my like I'm not like on any specific like diet or anything like that, but I try to go low carbs, and like my main side is like cooked rice, right? Just some white rice, and who knew how many carbs is in that in calories overall, and so like now my portion size for rice is just half a cup of cooked rice, and that's still a lot.
Yeah, no, it's surprising when you start seeing how many calories you're actually consuming. Yeah, so I think it just is important to have a phase where you do that. And I'm one of those people that's always like hyper analyzing nutrition labels too. So if I go to the grocery store, I'm like, I
look at all the nutrition labels nowadays. I didn't used to before. I was just like, this is good. I'm just gonna grab it and put it in the basket.
Yeah, it's great. What about?
I meal prep a lot.
Oh yeah, what do you make?
Is huge. It depends. I'm the kind of person that can eat like the same thing for a long time. Like if I want to eat chicken for like a month straight for my meals, I'll do it. Maybe I'll change like the seasonings or the sauces for it or whatever. Which sauces are also crazy.
Yeah,
if we're talking about nutrition shit. Oh my god.
There's some sauces that are so out of control.
Liquid calories, like oh my god, liquid calories and like sauces and things like that is insane. insane. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like chicken, pork, steak. I won't meal prep the steak, but I'll just eat a whole ass steak in like one day, and like
Mm-hmm.
that'll be like the only meal that I eat. And I do intermittent fasting as well.
Nice. That's my brother does. I'm more of a snacker. I'm eating all day, but
Yeah.
it helps me because I used to have just a mild problem with binging. Not like
Oh
that
yeah,
bad,
I
but
cannot buy snacks at the store. I will eat it day one. If I
yeah.
buy a family bag of like hot Cheetos or Doritos, it's gone tomorrow.
Yep.
So I do my best to go to grocery shopping after I've eaten.
Oh, that's also so smart. Yeah, that's really smart. I I have gotten it. Well, one, it's easier for me because I live alone. So snacking, I have had to relearn this where when I lived with people, it felt like my snacks were going to be gone because somebody else was going to eat them. But I've been
Hmm.
living alone for like 18 months now. And so I finally, my brain is recalibrated and it's like, okay, you can actually just keep snacks in the pantry for months if you want, if they're not going to go bad. I'm kind of chilling. And so getting a bunch of snacks is actually really nice because nobody's going to eat them. And I can just stop at any point. I can just eat a few, put them away, and they're going to be there when I get back. And so that's been really nice. And I think that was my biggest problem with the binging as well. I think there was like a lot of like subconscious things going on of like, I need to eat this so nobody else touches it, or, you know, just the things like that. And now I don't have to worry about that and I can snack freely. And also just eating a lot throughout the day for me has really calmed down my like hunger levels. Like I'm pretty balanced throughout the whole day, which has completely eliminated the need to binge at all. So it's nice.
Yeah, for me, I can't control myself. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I see a bag of chips, it's mine
but
right then and there.
but you probably agree that it really is all habits. I mean, if you were to
Oh,
really,
100%.
you know, drill down, because that's what I had a problem. Like if I had a full bag of chips, they're all gone right there, right then and there. But it's just working on it and getting those habits ingrained, just like your walks. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I started slowing down on them because I was like, for a time, like when I started, I was doing like 5,000 steps a day for like a month. And then I switched to 10,000 steps every day for like a month and a half. And nowadays I actually give myself a break. I'll go on 10,000 steps like every other day. So I at
Hmm.
least have like a day or two of rest between the week or whatever.
Have you gotten into any like? It sounds like you know you do some sort of weights here and there, but have you gotten into like resistance training at all with calisthenics or
Not
just weights?
yet.
That's
Nah,
when.
not
That's
not yet.
when.
I was trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get started with like seeing how much weight I could lose within I don't know, by the end of the year by
Hmm.
just like walking, and I just didn't want to jump into weight training or anything like that immediately because I don't know, I was kind of scared of like hurting myself, right? Because I
Yeah.
don't really know how to train properly. Like I have like those home DVDs of like workouts and things like that I used to follow before, and
Hmm.
I'll probably get back into them. But I do have some weight equipment at home, just not like a lot. Like I have a set of dumbbells that go from like 2 to 52 pounds, so to speak. So that'll go a long way itself. And I got some other equipment, but I just wanted to start out, slow before I get back into that.
That's when things like really start getting exciting because I was the same with you. I was just walking. That was it. And then slowly easing into like the push-ups and the calisthenics and stuff. And that's when fitness just becomes like a lot more fun. It's nice, like just slowly building on to things and just seeing improvements in a bunch of areas. But the first things first, I was with you. I just wanted to lose weight. I just wanted to like get to a healthy weight and then you build from there, I think. So
Yeah.
that's when things get
Like my
exciting.
old streams from like years ago, I'm like,
Hmm.
damn, I used to be that skinny. Look at me now.
Yeah, yeah. No,
We're
I
getting
mean,
back there though.
yeah, no, I mean, people look at my old clips. Like, dude, I have really old clips where I'm like 30 pounds heavier. Not 30, maybe like 20, 25-ish pounds heavier, but soft, like 25 pounds heavier
Yeah.
and softer. And I also dye my eyebrows. I've been dyeing my eyebrows for like over a
Oh, I didn't
year
know
at
that.
this point. Yeah, no, the thing is, a lot of people haven't even recognized it. But if you go back in like old videos, you see my eyebrows are so much lighter because they're just so blonde and I wanted to darken them up a little bit. So you look at like old videos and you're like, Jesus, like you've really, because I even look back and I'm like, I look so different. Like it's kind of weird. But
Time flies though. Now we're
yeah.
old.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about sailing. I know this is one of those topics. It's mainly to like categorize or sort of catalog people's ideas of sailing so that in years from now, when people are listening back to these old casts, they're like, I wonder what people thought about sailing before it actually dropped, and now we actually have sailing and this shit sucks or this shit's amazing. Like, what are your hopes and aspirations for sailing? Are you excited about it? Are you worried about losing your max K for a time? Like, what are your overall thoughts?
Not worried about losing my max skip or anything like that. Like, I've gotten it twice. I'll just do it again. I'm going to be playing the game anyway, probably when it comes out. I still think we're probably a year or two away from it. Like, we haven't even heard anything about it in a while, let alone seen any betas or anything like that yet. So we got a ways to kind of like mentally prepare for it, so to speak, right? But I wouldn't say I'm 100% excited for it, but I'm like anticipating what they do with it, because there's so much opportunity that they can introduce different kinds of content into the game, which I think overall long term will be a good thing, because it's just like there's so much opportunity that they could do with sailing, like sailing to different islands, introducing different islands, different cities, different places. Like I said earlier, like a raids 4 or 5 or whatever, however many we get in the future could be like, ocean themed or whatever. There's so much they could do with it. I know RS3 has like certain examples of it. I think they call it ports over there. But like different islands have different things for, like, if you want to train hunter or whatever skills out there, there's different methods of training that could be faster or whatever. But it's just like an opportunity for them to introduce so much different content into the game. It is interesting to see that it started off as a April Fool's joke years ago, and now it's actually finally gonna actually be a thing, which is kind of interesting to think about. But like overall, like I wouldn't say I'm like 100% excited for it. I'm just waiting in anticipation to actually find out what it's going to be, because at this point we really don't know much. I think the last thing that we heard about it, they were struggling with getting the boats to move in the water or something like that. So they're a ways off. So it's going to be interesting to see how the development process goes. And by the time that we get it in like a beta state and then full release, which who knows when that's going to be, but it should be interesting to see.
It is such a challenge to design something from the ground up, such as sailing. Like, there's no RS3 concept of sailing either. So oh my God, like that. I do not envy the devs that are having to work on sailing, just figuring out everything from scratch. That's just so daunting. I'm just really hoping they're focusing on the fun aspect rather than making things, I don't know. I just feel like what's really important is having fun with the boys on a boat, making things not as XP oriented, where this is now like a mining skill where it's like, oh, we got to balance all the XP races. It's like, I feel like ultimately what players want is a fun, chill experience on a boat, traveling, encountering new monsters, encountering new islands, and not having it feel like a skill. That's at least my opinion. I would rather it not feel like a skill, but make it feel like, I mean, one of the best examples is Sepulchre, where Sepulchre doesn't even feel like you're training a skill. It just feels like you're just running and looting rewards and stuff, and then all of a sudden you see the agility XP, and you're like, whoa, I didn't even notice. Like, it's just shot up.
Yeah, Sepulchre, that was good content.
It's amazing. It's just it's so perfect. It's highly rewarding. Tons of XP, you're not even noticing, and you're improving at something. It feels nice. Sailing, I don't think, needs to have that variable of like feeling like you're improving at anything. They could, I guess, in some ways. That we're going to see how difficult sailing actually is, But yeah,
I'm curious how the XP gain is going to be. Like, just be on the ocean, and then over time you just gain XP. I feel like they're going to throw in some aspects of maybe what's it called? What's that fishing trawler? There you go. Let's talk about it. I feel like it's going to incorporate some of the aspects of that, like repairing your ship mid-ocean, so to speak. That's definitely going to be there. I don't see why I wouldn't, but it'll be interesting to see how XP scales as well when you go for 99 kind of thing.
One of the things, so I am optimistic about it mainly because we have Elena and we have Husky working on sailing, and they're just the goats when it comes to developing stuff. So I'm really happy they're like kind of leading the project, and then on top of that, you got the players like Screet Monge and Gentle Tractor, who are so articulate and so balanced and unbiased on like their assessments with the game. I mean, I had Gentle Tractor on years ago, and the way he speaks about the game is just so good. Like, it makes me excited about it because he cares about the game. He cares about the little things, and he cares about balance and fun. And when you have those people in a call together, like, you know, this shit's going to end up being really, really good. So I'm just, I'm glad that we have amazing devs that we can kind of rely on for this stuff, because they're not going to come out with a bad product.
Yeah, I don't think so either. They get a lot of, you know, there's a lot of people that have their, you know, their opinions that they voice online about sailing even coming into the game when it's not even out yet. So they're not even giving it a chance, so to speak, when we have nothing to, you know, they haven't shown us anything, so we can't really say anything about it. But they're, you know, there's some people out there that are very vocal about it, which is not a bad thing, unless you go over that limit to where you're being negative in a rude manner, right? There, you know, there's always going to be those people. But like, there's a lot of people out there that just aren't giving it a chance before, you know, it's not even out yet. So it's hard to even have or form an opinion on it, regardless of if you just don't want it into the game for one reason or another. Like, I'm sure there's people out there that don't want it out there just because they don't want to train a new skill or max again or something like that. And that's not like a reason for me to be negative against it, so to speak. Like, they're not, at least we hope not. It's gonna be like, we hope it's not gonna be, you know, crap when it comes out. Sure, there's a chance that it might. There's probably definitely gonna be some bugs with it. But it's just like, how do I view, or how do I say? It's just like, it's fine to be opinionated about it, and it's fine to look forward to it, but it's also fine not to be. But just like, you know, it's real people working on it, and give it a chance before it's even out.
Yep.
Once we finally get like the beta and actually have in-depth information on what it's gonna, you know, bring to the game, you just can't really say much about it in a negative, you know, sense. Because I feel like I said, I feel like the people who are against it right now are kind of like not thinking long term, or they're not thinking about like the game overall. They're probably just thinking about, you know, themselves in a way. Like, oh, I just don't want to train a new skill, or, you know, something like that. But there's an opportunity where it can bring a lot of good to the game, a lot of good content, but we just don't know yet. Hell, for all I know, I could be wrong with that. It could be really bad, and it's like bad content all around. But who knows? We just don't know anything yet to even talk too much about it. It's just, it's one of those, it's a tough topic just because we literally don't know anything.
Yeah, in time we'll know, and we'll definitely have some more casts once things start getting revealed, the betas and everything else.
Yeah.
So I'm going to move on to some of these Twitter topics. There's something so interesting. Were you in the original Spy Kids movie? What's up with all these?
No, not the original. I was in the second one.
Spy Kids. What was that one again? I've seen them.
Island of Lost Dreams.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, the one. Well, all of them are kind of funky. Let's be honest. The thumbs and everything, you know.
Yeah. Yep. Floop.
Yeah, that was back when I was in 6th grade. It was a long time ago. I was an extra. No, I wasn't anyone famous or anyone important in the movie, of course.
How did you get the role?
Like,
the extra role? Like, how did you?
I actually didn't even get it myself. My mom got it for me. So basically, the TLDR of that is my mom. I don't know how she found out about it, but she originally sent in auditions and paperwork for the entire family to go or to be in the Miss Congeniality movie. I don't know if you know of that one or have seen it.
I've heard
but
it,
yeah, it was before Spy Kids 2 or whatever, just before. But she applied everyone for that as a family. None of us got into that one, of course, but I got a call back, or, you know, my mom got the call back for me to be in Spy Kids 2, because I assuming the casting director worked on Miss Congeniality, or at least, you know, got the files of everyone somehow or whatever. I'd have to ask my mom the full story on that one. But yeah, that's just how I got into that. They just saw my pictures and they were like, yeah, he could be a Spy Kid.
So what did you have to do?
Like, cool.
Like, what was it like?
It was super easy. Like, I was in, I think 4 scenes. 3 of them didn't make it into the film. One of them did, and I do show up in the movie for like 3 seconds, which is cool. I was literally like that SpongeBob meme where it's like, there I am. That was me, like in the theaters watching it for the first time. But two of the scenes I was on scooters, actually, just like scootering in the background, doing nothing, just from one side to the next. And in between takes, I would just go from one side to the other and back again, kind of thing.
That is
Those
so
ones didn't
funny.
make it into it.
Oh, okay.
But the one that I did make it into it, I was standing in a corner and just having an empty folder open, and I was pretending to have a conversation with the kid next to me, and that was it. Like we were just moving our mouths and like nodding our heads, like nothing's being said. We're just like, you know what I mean? And that one made it into the film, which is pretty cool.
Oh my god, that's awesome, man. Like, that's really cool.
I have a picture I can send to you later once I find it. But
Yeah.
during one of the breaks or whatever, the kid who played Junie Cortez,
Yeah.
the red hair one, he was I don't know why he was by himself, but he was walking through the area of where all the extras were while we were all having lunch. And my mom was actually the first one that saw him walking, literally grabbed me from my seat without saying anything, and just like drug me over to him and asked to take a picture. And he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." And like we got a picture, and like two other families got pictures before his assistant came by. I was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. You got to delete the photo off your phone." Blah blah blah. She never did, obviously.
Yeah, of course
but,
not. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I got like that one piece of evidence of me standing next to the kid when I was in 6th grade, and it's kind of fun. Well,
Oh,
fun little story.
that's so cool. Yeah, that's dude, it just reminds me of just like those children's shows. Did you ever watch Zoom? Come on and
Ever
Zoom.
what you cut out there?
Oh, I was gonna ask if you ever watched the show Zoom on TV, like the Come on and Zoom,
was
come on
the-
and Zoom. Just a
Is that
bunch
the
of
one?
kids.
No, I'm thinking of Zabuma.
There's Zaboomafoo, but then there was also Zoom.
Okay, I don't remember that one. I remember the one
Okay.
with the animal.
Yeah, Zaboomafoo with Chris and Martin. Yeah. No, but Zoom. I remember being a kid watching those. I was like, I wish I was on this kind of show. Like this looks dope. Like just like messing around, playing games, and just looked fun. So yeah, you lived my childhood dream, man. You got to ride on a scooter. That's cool.
And they paid me for it, and I got to miss school, or at least
Oh,
for one of
that
the
is-
shoots I got to miss
Yeah,
school.
how much money do you make as an extra? It's probably just a couple $100 or something, right? Or what?
For me, I was getting I got paid like 300 and something per shot that I was in that I went for, even though one made the film.
That's cool. That's
So
nice.
it was about $1,000 that I got for all of it, I believe.
And did your mom yoink it, or did you get to keep all of it?
They got some, of course.
Yeah.
I think I spent mine on like Pokemon cards or something like
Oh,
that.
fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
That and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, of course.
Yu-Gi-Oh on my chest. Yeah, all about it. That's sick. Dude, one of my, just a little tangent on Yu-Gi-Oh. I remember, so I had neighbors that lived in the cul-de-sac across from our cul-de-sac when I grew up. And they were in high school. I was a kid. Like, I was like 10 or something. These kids were like 17. But we'd go. It sounds weird now thinking about it. And it probably is a weird situation. But my brother and my brother was 2 years older. So got a 10 and a 12-year-old walking over to these two 17-year-olds' house across the street. And they had a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and a bunch of like Pokemon cards and stuff. And I remember they were one of their names was Robert. And he had 4 pieces of Exodia. And I just remember thinking, like, this guy is a literal god. And he let me borrow his holographic, like, Dark Magician, the one that was kind of shiny. And it wasn't mine. He just let me, like, borrow it, I guess. And I brought it to school, and I was just flexing on every single kid. It was
Now, do you have any of those cards nowadays? Because they're probably pricey.
No, of course not. Dude, actually funny. There used to be these card selling places. I think, what was the place called? It was like Dragon's Alley or something like that. Some place where I grew up, some card trading place, and just total scammers. I mean, scam artists, just straight up. Like they would sell cards for extreme prices, and then they'd buy your cards from you for pennies, and then resell them.
Oh, so GameStop.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that. And we went to because I remember we had a friend named Joel, and he had his parents would just buy him cards like every day, basically, just new Pokemon cards, new Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and so he had this binder just loaded with Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards. I mean, this is the thickest fucking binder. It was like, 4x4 cards, and he's probably got like 100 pages of them, just loaded. And we went to this place, and because he wanted to be like done with Pokemon, he wasn't, but he wanted to be done with it to like move on, because he was like, okay, I gotta become a teenager now. So we went to his place, and he was gonna sell his whole binder. I mean, it was rares in there. There's so many things, and the person there was like, yeah, we'll pay you like, I think it was like $3.50 for like the whole fucking
For the whole
binder.
thing?
Yeah,
God.
just, like the binder itself cost that much.
That's like 300 grand like today.
Yeah. And so, of course, we don't. But we're like, dude, you got this fucking neck beard that just smells like BO sitting there behind the counter using his fucking calculator there. His little calculator. He's like calculating it up. He's like, yeah, like $3.50 for like all these fucking cards. Because he was like, yeah, most of them are just junk. And he was like, yeah, but if you want to just give them away, I mean, they're all junk, so we're not going to pay for those. But these ones,
that's what they say when they know something's worth something, and they just want to get as much money off of you as possible.
It was such a miserable experience. We left the store and we're like, what the hell was that? Like, that was horrible.
Nowadays, it's better if you're like for people trying to sell cars, because you can actually look it up on like sites like TCG. And like in front of them, kind of thing. Yeah.
He sees us like 12-year-olds walking in.
Now.
Yeah. There's adults, and you have to respect the prices and everything. Funny times though. But I can't even remember why I brought that up. There was something I was gonna go on about. But purities topic on Twitter. For both Drum and Sae, what have been your biggest obstacles being content creators for both YouTube and Twitch, and do you approach them differently? And then, of course, he also asked, what can we expect to see in the new Spy Kids movie for you?
They had a new Spy Kids movie like a year or so ago. I was not asked to reprise my role, unfortunately. The scooter kid, but oh well. I gotta send you the clip of this scene. For anyone that, I guess, is bored enough to want to look it up. I don't remember the time it's at, but it's the scene that I'm in. It's the one where the Cortez kids or whatever send their robotic frog to go spy on the two blonde kids. And when they're in the OSS, company facility or whatever, which was actually a library, by the way, you see the robotic frog go down the hallway. Right after the frog jumps into the guy's cup of coffee, like a second or two after that, to the right-hand side, you're going to see two kids talking to each other. I'm holding the folder, and that's me right there.
That is
for anyone bored enough. I can send it to you later. It's probably on YouTube or something
I want to see it, for sure. What are the biggest, I guess, obstacles being content creator for YouTube and Twitch?
Oh, man, YouTube, and they're both different. I tackle both of them slightly differently. For YouTube it's a analytics game. Like for me, I don't know how often you go to your analytics and look at like the watch time and things like that. Like you can basically see where people are skipping ahead on your videos, or they just completely like just stop watching. Because like at the beginning of the video, you'll see like a line graph where it starts at the top. 100% viewer rate, and then like within the first 30 seconds you're down to like 70-80% viewer rate, right? And then it just like it either gets better or worse from there. You see spikes and dips and things like that. Like for my videos, for example, like my Pet-Roulette videos, I can see where people are skipping to. If I get a pet, for example, they'll skip the entire part and just go straight to where the pet is. Like you have people, like you can hover your cursor over videos and kind of like skim ahead to see if anything happens, I suppose. And a lot of people do that because I can see it. Yeah, a lot of people do that because it's very obvious in the graphs.
Yeah.
It's like I'll be at like 60% viewer retention by the time I'm at like 2-3 minutes in the video, but for some reason at the 15-minute mark there's like 80% retention. It's like, well, where'd those 20% of people go that they just skipped ahead? That's really what it was. Which it's super normal. It happens. It's like everyone's got that thing on YouTube, and that I wouldn't say it's a problem. It's just a normal thing, right? But like I'll look at the graphs a lot. I used to look at them when I started way more, like daily. I was looking at them for like my clue videos and my pet hunting videos. I would try to see where the lowest points were and see like, okay, how did I talk there? Should I be more energetic? Were the on-screen B-roll footage or text things like bad, or were they too flashy? Was it too much? And I try to adjust viewing experience better. But in terms of like tackling it, like for me, it like I said, it's a huge analytic thing. I'm trying to find out what people enjoy the most when they're watching my videos, and it's different between my clue videos and my pet hunting videos. And I try to balance it out, add things, test things out, keep what's good in the videos, take what's bad out, and replace them with something to try something different. Um, and I kind of like my YouTube and Twitch kind of like work alongside each other. That's kind of how I got started with getting people over to watch my Twitch to begin with, to find out that I existed. But not everyone that's a YouTube viewer is a live stream viewer. So it's very hard to convert people to go over to watch me live who only want to watch YouTube videos, because I get a lot of times. I don't know if you ever get this kind of thing, but I get this a lot, like multiple times, like a week probably, where people will come into my streams, or they'll comment on my YouTube videos or in my Discord server, where they're just like, yeah, I actively avoid your streams because I don't want spoilers. Which I get and I understand.
Yep.
But for me, I'm just like, damn, that sucks. Because like, I mean, everyone does it. I'm sure, like other creators have like the same thing. I'm sure, like, like a lot of people do YouTube videos and stream at the same time, like Bodie, Curtis, for example, or no, not Curtis, Mammal. Like a lot of people do both of them. I don't know if they have the same issue as I do with as many people that come and actively tell me that they avoid my streams purposely so they don't get spoiled. It does kind of like hurt a little bit. I'm just like, damn, I wish you'd like at least give the stream a chance. I'm glad you enjoy the content. Is what I'll tell them. I'm glad you enjoy the videos, and I appreciate you taking time to come by my streams, or join the Discord and try to be an active member of the community, so to speak. But it's just like it hurts a little bit. It's like, damn, I wish you gave the stream a chance, but people don't give it a chance because they just don't want spoilers. But I get it, right? Some people just are primarily YouTube viewers, and some are Twitch viewers, and you get the best of both worlds. And sometimes you get a mix of them, and sometimes you just get one, depending on where you're at. But the way to approach Twitch is super weird. Was that?
What do you enjoy most? Do you enjoy the live stream aspect, or do you enjoy the editing and seeing the fruits of making a nice video, and then seeing all the comments and the likes and the analytics?
I like both, to be honest, because like editing is fun for me, and I get to see, like you said, I get to see the reaction afterwards, people like commenting it, or I don't. Sometimes a lot of people don't comment; they just like leave likes or whatever. Either way, it's fun to make the videos itself, but I do also enjoy live streaming, because then I could actually like one-on-one interact with people, rather than a video and then I just go back and read the comments, and the next day or a week later or however long, if I get like a new notification that someone commented on a video or something like that. It's like I like both for the different reasons. I will say the idea of just solely streaming is nice. Like I don't do this full time, YouTube or Twitch or anything like that. It would be nice if I just streamed and I didn't have to worry about editing, because it can take quite a bit of time. Like gathering footage for like RuneScape content can take hundreds of hours for like a 20-minute video, right?
Yep.
So going through all those hours of footage can be lengthy, to say the least. I've developed like a method of going through all my footage, which I think works for me to cut down the amount of time that I spend on editing, but I do still enjoy the process of it. And the good thing about YouTube is that when I upload a video, the video's there 24/7 forever, right? But for streams, I could only grow or have people watch me if I'm live. If I'm not live, then I'm not growing, so to speak, right? And that's like also the positive side of YouTube, is I can upload a video, it's there forever, people can find it whenever, so the YouTube is just constantly, growing. Whereas, Twitch, it's not. You have to be live in order to kind of like get anywhere, right? At least that's how it feels.
Yeah. Do you think there is this is the problem with Twitch? It feels like Twitch is very much a like grandfathered thing into. So if you started early, you got a huge audience, and it really just kind of stabilizes, and you're kind of good if you just started early and you built up a good audience. Nowadays, and the thing is like it makes total sense. A lot of viewers, like live stream viewers, they want their like default streamer to go to. And so if you have been consistent, you've been doing it for a long time, people are just going to watch you. They're not even going to try to this is, again, not everybody, but a lot of the time people just want to go to the people that they already recognize and are familiar with. And I feel like with YouTube, it's somewhat similar, but it's way easier to like explore different channels. Like if you see a video that just is amazing, you're subscribing and you're going to start watching them. With Twitch, it's a little bit more difficult to really establish like, okay, this is something different. Like this is something really cool, and I'm going to start watching this streamer all the time. It's a little bit harder, I think.
Yeah, Twitch. Oh man, I love and hate Twitch, or just like streaming in general. Like I said, I don't do this full time, so my time is kind of like limited. I get every now and then, not a lot, maybe like once or twice a month or something like that. People ask me, it's like, oh, why aren't you full time? Or they ask me if I'm full time. I'm like, no, I can't. And they're like, oh, why? It was like I give them the same answer every time. It's just like I just don't earn enough money from YouTube and Twitch combined to justify going full time. If I did, I'd be in a world of pain in a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like for Twitch especially, and it's kind of the same with YouTube. Like for YouTube, views matter, and on Twitch, views matter as well, right? And obviously for Twitch, you have to solely rely on the generosity of others, you know, subscribing to you or gifting subs or prime subs or bits or whatever, right? You're solely relying on the generosity of others to allow you to stream full time. And at this point, like for me, it just like I just don't make enough money to justify going full time, which also hurts against me because, you know, after like a day of like work, and even though I work from home, so I'm in like in a lucky position already, which helps me make my videos because I can kind of do RuneScape content on the side. But I don't want to I can't stream every single day, right?
Yep.
Like my consistency on that regard is a struggle, which also is a struggle with, you know, people wanting to come by the streams or wanting to come back to the streams if they don't see me live, you know, frequently or consistently. And that also contributes to the amount of people that are willing to want to subscribe, because if I'm not consistent with being live, you know, why should they, you know, want to support me in that way financially, right? So it's kind of like not a double-edged sword, but it works alongside. Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to express it, but like I would love to do this full time. I'm just not at that point yet.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why is because consistency for me is rough to do, because, you know, I'm trying to balance that work-life balance and, you know, my relationship balance as well, right? Like I don't want to, you know, once I'm done with work, go live immediately after and just kind of like, you know, ignore my girlfriend, right? And just other, you know, friends and family and things like that. If I did do this full time, then I'd have more hours in the day to, you know, consistently be live. Maybe not every day, but just like more consistently throughout the week and maybe longer streams. But like right now, it's just not at that point. But until I can get there, you know, I'm kind of like stuck where I am, where I, you know, I can't be as consistent, and it's rough because it's like people want me to stream full time, but I can't stream full time because I, you know, don't earn enough money. But then people don't want to
support to
stay around for too long. Yeah,
so you can't even grow to that point because you're not streaming.
Yeah,
as much.
So it's like I know what's wrong, but I can't fix it until the other one fixes itself, and it's just always consistently working against each other. So it's just like I understand their point of view, and they're absolutely in the right in terms of wanting to support someone that they know will consistently be live, because then they'll find value in that, which is 100% fair, right? But I have to get to the point where I can, you know, actually get to the point where I can, you know, be live consistently. But it's not there yet, and you know, that's a me issue kind of thing there, right? Like I have to prove to people that I'm worth their time, let alone prove to people that I'm worth their financial support. You know what I mean? Because like I'm happy enough already as it is that people just come by the stream, whether it's for 5 minutes to say hi, or, you know, maybe they're there for the entire stream. I like that's the only thing I can ask from people is if they take time out of their days to just like either watch my content on YouTube or watch my streams. That's all I can ask for, is them, you know, just spending time to, you know, watch my content. That's it. I can't ask any more than that. And I have to work to the point where people feel fulfilled enough between my content on YouTube and streams to want to justify being able to support me financially in that sense.
Yep.
And while I do earn a good amount of money from both YouTube and Twitch combined, it's so far under what I would need in terms of like a means for, being able to live and pay my rent, my bills and things like that. And also not enough money to justify me going full time because I need to make money to save for, the future, right? Like we could all have like anything could happen, right? Like a medical issue could happen, my car could break down, or who knows what could happen. And the money earned from content creation is never consistent.
Yep.
And it's a big struggle. And I don't even do it full time, so I can only understand the frustrations of what, full-time content creators go through. It's a lot. We could talk all day about that too. It's so much.
So one of the things is like, okay, so your YouTube is pretty good. I mean, you're over 50K subs, which is honestly like that's something I'm striving for. I mean, I'm still, in the 20Ks. And once you've hit that like 50K mark, at least what I've heard from other creators, and I've had like Mason from Crusader Talent on, he says usually sponsorships for videos don't really start coming until you've hit that like 50K threshold of subscribers.
It's not actually subscribers, because I've talked with them as well. I mean, I'm actually in Crusader. I don't know how much I can say, and it also it differs between companies, right? Because each company that Crusader is going to reach out to potentially sponsor any content creator, subscribers don't mean anything to companies. What matters is the average view count per video of your last 10 videos, or like the last month or 2 months or however long. Each company is kind of different, but they look at viewers on a video, like how many, or sorry, not viewers, but how many views a video got, and not the amount of subscribers a channel has. Because you can have a million subscribers, but if you're getting like 50,000 views per video, that's not the same equivalent to
yeah.
They're not going to pay for a million subscribers. They're going to pay for the active viewers that you're getting.
Yeah, totally. I think there and there are exceptions to, like when a YouTuber just explodes all of a sudden, then they only have 20K subscribers, but they're pulling 100,000 views a video. There's different. I think Limport especially is like the greatest example.
Oh yeah.
Just all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's got a Raid Shadow sponsorship and just like Video 3. But it is so. Have you been able to get sponsorships? I don't know when that started happening, because I think you've had a few sponsorships, correct?
Yeah, I started doing some at the end of last year. I didn't really do any sponsorships for like the first 2 years when people actually knew that I was a thing, I guess, on YouTube. Because I just don't want to jump into the sponsorship thing. I didn't want to immediately go into that route.
Yeah.
I think one of the first ones that I took was a creator crafted one. That one works. I don't know if you worked with them. But that one was completely different.
I haven't had any sponsorships on, because that is Crusader. I mean, they're from the same. Yeah, and they can just freely give those out, basically. Those sponsorships.
Those ones work a little bit differently though, in terms of like an actual sponsorship, because like sponsors will give X amount of money per X amount of your average views on a video, and theirs is kind of like an affiliate program, right? You earn based off of what people are buying using your code.
Yeah.
So it's not bad. I think the bigger YouTubers greatly benefit from that way more. But I did start taking sponsorships more so this year. However, even though, even like you said, I'm a bit over 50,000 subs, which is still awesome to me, right? And I get a pretty good amount of views. From what I've been told, and from what I've talked to like, other creators that are within Crusader and outside of Crusader that still take sponsorships, but companies really don't start going after you until your average views on a video is more than 50,000. So even though I'm averaging like 35K-ish for like an average video, sometimes it'll do a little bit better than that depending on, RNG really. That's how it feels like YouTube is if the algorithm is going to favor you that day or not when you upload. I get some sponsorships now, but I mean, already this year I went 2 months without a sponsor because, they just want to go after bigger YouTubers.
Yep.
Which is, that 50K threshold, that they look for minimum. But it's interesting. Like if I were able to get like consistent sponsorships, like at least, God, with where my channel is and how much like I'm getting offered, I would probably need at least 3 consistent sponsors a month on YouTube alone to go like in that full-time direction, and I would have to have that happen for like at least half a year before I made that, that
That
leap,
leap.
so to
Yep.
speak, right? And I got a ways to go and work on for sure. And I'm not sure how sponsorships work on Twitch. I've been offered some, but I've never taken them because I just don't want to take a sponsorship that's where I'm playing like a different game for X amount of hours.
Yeah.
And I've seen some sponsorships on Twitch go for not in terms of like how much money or whatever, but like you earn based off of how far other people play the game after downloading the game and like using your link, and if they buy something in game, they like you can earn off of that or something like that. It just really depends. Every company is kind of like different. But I haven't taken any on Twitch, so I'm not 100% sure how those go. I just know from looking on Stream Elements. I don't know if you use that one.
Yeah, no,
I
I
just
get
go based
emails
off
all
of
the
reading
time.
that.
They're all just they're all bullshit. I mean, they're not all bullshit, but it's like they are paying the bare minimum they would be needing to pay you basically, because you're not having like an actual agent really trying to like barter with them and be like, hey, this guy deserves a little bit more. It's all just baseline, like here's $200 if you do this, and then and then everything else is basically affiliate links where it's like you just got to get people to do the stuff, and then it feels like you're a salesperson on your stream, which is awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tried to stay away from the stream ones because one, I'm still trying to grow, right?
Yeah.
I would love to get to the point where, I mean, at this point, I was hoping I'd be averaging, I don't know, 150 viewers every time I stream. But again, with our talk earlier about like the consistency thing can be really rough and hurts me specifically because I can't be as consistent as people might want me to be. So like since I'm in the process of still trying to grow the stream, I just don't want to take any sponsorships on Twitch at this time. YouTube's a little bit different because, people could just skip through them very easily with a click of their mouse, so to speak. It takes them like less than 2 seconds to do so. And that's a little bit different. Streams, people got to sit through that for however long they're willing to watch you for, depending on how long that, the duration of the sponsorship is. So I'm just like, for now, I'm just not going to do that. Maybe in the future, if I've grown to the point where I'm averaging hundreds of people and it makes more sense. But until I get to that point, I just want to, just play RuneScape and chill and try and grow the stream, from there.
Okay, here's a topic. I did hint at this at the beginning, but King Kiefer dropped a 10-pack in my stream yesterday. He wanted me to ask this to you. This is from him. Ask Drum why he unmodded me. He told me it was because I'm not able to make his streams much anymore, which is fair, but it'll be hilarious.
No, that's basically it. Because I sent him a DM before I even did that, and I did it with like a few other people. Now, I told you before I demodded my own brother because he just doesn't come to my streams, and I wanted to have an active list of mods that I mean, obviously they don't come to my streams every single time, but if they're able to come to my streams when they can, whether that's like a couple times a month or something like that, like I can't ask people to come to my streams or force them to come to my streams. But I had like around 15 people on my mod staff. I wouldn't call it staff, but on my mod team on Twitch. Whereas like 10 of them just didn't come to the streams anymore. Or maybe they would show up like once a month for like 5 minutes or so, and then they would leave. And which is fine. They may watch other content at this time or support other streamers, and everyone's time is limited, so they have to, or not have to, but they watch who they want to watch. And sometimes people just stop watching, so got to change the list of mods because it just kind of feels weird to have someone a mod in my chat that's like no longer there anymore. And so I just wanted to have an active list. And like Keith is cool, we're still friends, I love the guy, he's awesome, we still talk. Maybe not as much as we did, but yeah, I mean, I sent him a message. He's cool. Got nothing wrong with the guy. He could be a mod again in the future if he starts watching the streams again. But I mean, he's just into other content at this time, right? We've got different time zones and interests and things like that, and he's just currently interested in other kinds of content, which is it's totally cool.
Okay, let's talk about Clan Lucky. That's what Sam on Twitch says. He just says Clan Lucky.
That's all it says?
Yep, Clan Lucky with a 4-leaf clover.
Okay. Well, yeah, I run a clan in-game. Started through my YouTube, I guess, promo for the clan in game. It's a community-based clan. There's no real requirements other than we don't allow alts to be in the clan because we fill up the 500 slots like every single week because people find the clan through the videos. But I mean, it's just a nice, friendly community. Shout out Lucky if you want to join. Just join Lucky as a guest in game and join. That's it. I guess.
Here's the real question though: do you actually get lucky being in that clan?
I can't tell you how many times people have joined the clan and have gotten like a pet or two in the first week. Okay. We had one dude join and he got a third age like day 2 or 3 of being in the clan. So I can't confirm, but I also can't deny.
All right, there you guys go. So if you guys are struggling with your RNG, head over there. Do you have? By the way, I'm curious. Do you have any superstitions about this game, like things that you know are not real, but you still do them, or you still think about the way RNG rolls, or you do like an emote spin before you open a Barrow's chest or whatever? Like, do you have any superstitions you follow?
Absolutely. If I'm killing a boss and I get a good unique drop, I have to hop worlds because the RNG has now gone in that world for like the next hour. I have to do it. I have to hop worlds. I have to.
That's hilarious, dude. Yeah. Now I think I'm trying to think, because most of it I just understand. It's just whatever. But there are some times where I go super, super dry on something. I don't want to hop pieces of content because I feel like if I hop pieces of content, I'm going to get super lucky at that new place I just hopped to, where I want all the luck to be at one place. So Baron, for example, on my main iron, I've been wanting to go get that pet, and I'm over 3x rate, and I'm like, I don't even want to touch anything else because I'm going to get super spooned as soon as I go over to something else. That's what it feels like.
It's the best pet in the game, too.
It's so good. I can't get it.
Like my display picture is it. I got obsessed with it.
One of the things, dude, your emotes, by the way, I know I've said this to you so many times, but your emotes are the best on Twitch. Like they're so goated. Just even the ImaDrum hey, the little Baron with the top hat, like that's just so cute, dude. You nailed it.
Yeah, it reminded me of an anime that I saw. Do you watch anime?
I really just don't watch much at all. Not against it at all. I just can't get into it because yeah, there's a variety of reasons. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to deep dive into it. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean I've been watching anime since I like lived in Japan. All those like when I was young, right? But it reminded me of a character in an anime called Made in Abyss. The character is called Midi. Awful. I would not recommend that anime to anyone who like is not a regular anime watcher. It's very it's kind of dark. The character was it's just this creature. It looks exactly like Baron. That's it.
That's awesome.
I just thought it was funny, so I was just like, I'm gonna make this into my thing now. Goodbye, Bloodhound.
Baron is so fucking cute. He's the best pet. And I thought he was an overrated pet for a while. When it first came out, I thought he was overrated, and then I realized no, he was underrated. He's that goated of a pet. So
now we just need for Bloodhound, it'd be even better if we got the Mimic Transmog, you know?
Oh, it'd be so good. Yeah, crap. Oh yeah, I was gonna say it is gonna be really nice though, going back to the main. I call it the luxury iron at this point, after having played my hardcore group for over 3 weeks at this point, or I guess 3 weeks at this point. Just because there's so many differences. Like how long has it been since you've played on a low level account? Because I mean, you play a maxed account, it's got everything it ever needs. Like, do you think you could play a brand new account again?
I don't think I can. I don't know. Like I've been through the early game content twice before because I've maxed twice before. One back in like 2009 or 2010, something like that, and then one the second time again with the account that I have now in old school. Like I feel like I've been through it twice already, even though there's much more content in the game now for early and mid game accounts than there was the last time I did it. But I also feel like I've seen it enough times on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that I don't want to go through it again. If that makes sense.
Yep. No, I feel it.
Yeah. I mean, my mind could change in the future. Who knows? Right now, I'm still, super invested in, pet hunting and clue scrolls. And, if I were to start all over, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do those two things as much as I did, at least until I get to the point where, my account is at right now kind of thing. That would probably... Who knows how long that would take? That might take like a couple of years or so at my pace.
I was always a player that was pretty against making new accounts. I've always been kind of obsessed with having all progress on one account. Just so you log into the account and you see everything you've ever done on RuneScape is right there. Boom.
Yeah.
And this has been a completely brand new journey for me doing this. And so it's weird, but it's oddly, I think my mindset finally changed. I don't know, within the last couple of years at some point where I realized RuneScape is endless. Like I truly understood it. It wasn't just like a knowledge. It was like an understanding. Like, okay, there is no way to ever complete this game. So as many hours as I want to invest in it, I would never, like the goal post is infinitely down the road. Like it's impossible to ever hit all the goals I'd ever want. So that was liberating in a way because I was able to just log out, enjoy my life, realize I don't need to be grinding every single, minute of the day and stuff. And that's also allowed me to play on this account and feel very free from feeling like I'm XP wasting on my main iron or not getting things done on my main iron. Because I've had so many people come in like, what are you AFKing on Sae Bae? And I'm like, nothing. I haven't logged in 2.5 weeks. Like I logged in one time just to check if my main iron had normal planks in the bank because I wanted to do some like random crane repairing, which is the most dog shit thing ever. And I'm glad I didn't have any planks because I tried the method for like 10 minutes. It was horrible. But apparently there was like a way to like sell planks on your main iron and buy them over on your crappy iron. But yeah, no, it's been really nice, honestly, just playing a fresh account and the addictions like full back. It just it reminds me of playing on hardcore release where I don't know, everything is exciting. There's new goals every single second. It's just, you have so many things to do. When you start playing a super endgame account, like and I know, it's like you go to one piece of content, and you're there for, Baron, for example, I'm at Duke grinding over 300 hours there, and I haven't even gotten the thing I came for. It's like over 300 hours, and I haven't achieved anything. Like, Jesus.
There's a friend you made along the way in chat.
Yeah, luckily, I'm imagining the people that like don't content create and are sat at a place for 300 400 500 hours, like, oh my god. Yeah,
definitely streaming makes things go by not necessarily quicker, but it just makes it more fun.
Yeah, there's more going on.
Yeah, you're just like you're not alone in the grind.
Yeah. Let's talk about your YouTube series. So you've had Pet-Roulette, and you've also you were the original, in my books, you were the original person that finally cracked the code to enjoyable clue opening videos.
I've actually had people multiple people DM me about it, saying that they started doing clues because of them, and then they kind of like do the same thing in their videos, which is cool. Like, I don't care if people take the idea to make videos out of, because it makes it more entertaining for anyone watching any kind of clue content, right? But yeah, no, this I don't know, I just enjoy clues. I guess I wouldn't say, well, I guess partly it's like luck based, I guess, with like how the YouTube game works, so to speak. But I will say I spent a lot of time investigating other YouTube channels before I started making those clue videos for quite a while. Because when I wanted to start making YouTube videos, I was trying to see what would work, and the only things that I was seeing was like snowflake accounts, some pet hunting ones, in-game content ones, and I noticed that anytime that I came across a video where it was a clue opening, it would have a lot of views, but I would go through like the comments, and like I just noticed that people really enjoyed watching clue content but hated doing clues themselves. So like they don't ever want to do clues, but they always want to see what someone else is going to get. And I was like, oh, maybe I can get into this. And luckily I already liked clues because I played RS3 and I did a lot of clues over there too. So I was like, let's try this out. But like I knew that I needed it to be different because every single clue opening video was the same. Every single one of them. It was just, the person went to the bank and they just opened up the clues and just kind of spam clicked them, through. And I was just like, okay, people are interested in this content, but how can I make it a little bit more, interesting or engaging? And so I think I was just happening to listen to music while I was trying to think of ideas. And I just thought of the idea of what if I just timed it with the music. And the hard part about that is just finding music that was DMCA, free or royalty free, copyright free, things like that. But other than that, I tried it out and it like immediately got attention. Yeah. But I also was at the time, slightly active on Reddit, where I would post like, an opening, like a portion of an opening. I would show like a 20-second clip of the video where it was timed to music, or I would post a picture of my progress for me stacking 500 master caskets at the time. And it just got a lot of attention that way, and I funneled some people through Reddit to my YouTube channel, and it just ended up working out.
Yeah, how long did that take to like time everything with music? Is there like a automated sort of way you do it, or do you actually just look at the audio wave and just
I look at the audio wave and I go frame by frame.
Oh,
I try to get as
crazy.
close as possible as I can. Sometimes it works out, and then sometimes something happens to like the rendering process and things get out of sync, which is weird. But I've gotten a lot faster at it. I've also learned, because like I used to try to do as many clues as possible in a video. Like I always had to go for like, I need to get 1,000 hard caskets stacked. Okay, now I need 1,000 mediums. I need another 1,000 mediums. I need another 1,000 hard caskets. And then I was talking to some other content creators. They're like, the videos are good, but you don't need to do that much. People will still watch them. And so I just started to do whatever I could get within 2 or 3 weeks, and then combine it into a video and then release it. And it still did well, which I was pretty happy about. Obviously, there's gonna be some, like I've seen some comments over time where it's like, oh, nothing happened, because like the good. There's like pros and cons to clue openings from what I've seen. Like if I have a clue video where I open up X amount of caskets and I don't get a mega rare, that's when I usually start to see comments where people are a little bit more mad. I was like, oh, this was like a waste of a video because nothing happened. And that's like the bad thing about clues too, is because like no one cares about the regular uniques. They only care about the mega rares. And so that's like the tough part. So I can have... That's also a good thing about them too, because I basically have an infinite amount of videos I can make in the future, and just nonstop, unless I somehow run out of music to find that I want to put them to, or I want to have like a different idea that I change to in the future. But it's also like it's that double-edged sword kind of thing. It's good because it's like endless amounts of content, but it's bad because if I don't get a mega rare, then
so many
people are
hours.
mad.
Yeah.
And then there's this one video I uploaded. I forget which one. I got a gilded piece, which is technically classified as a mega rare, right? But there was a guy in the comments that's like, "That's not a mega rare. You baited me. It's a clickbait title." I'm like, "No, it's literally classified in game on the wiki. You look it up yourself. It's classified as a mega rare." But in his mind, he was like, "No, if it's not a third age, it's nothing."
Yep, then you got to deal with those weirdos.
Yeah, I mean, I just learned to just like shadow ban them. So
that's the best feature on YouTube.
Yeah,
the best.
Yeah, so that's all I do really for those kind of comments. But I mean, I enjoy clues overall, so the videos are just fun to make.
I want to talk about one of your, I mean, it was the most hyped stream of all time, your 500 Master Casket opening, which was, how many years? Was that like 2 years ago at this point?
Yeah, it's been a while.
That's crazy.
That's what really got people to like find me.
That was an amazing stream. You were building that hype up for so long. And that was, I think, the biggest opening we had ever seen. I think we've had somebody do more now, but
I think it was the second.
Oh, was it the second?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the second one. But nowadays, I think we've had someone do way more than that. I think someone already did 1,000.
Yeah, that is crazy. First off, but a 500. What was the luck again? I mean, I mildly remember, pulling a third age and maybe a couple.
Let's hear I got a third age cloak from it and 2 bloodhound pets.
Didn't you not even recognize you got the bloodhound off the bat?
No. People in chat were just screaming at me. I was like, oh shit, my bad. I will say that was like my first. I was still new to streaming, and I still feel like I'm a very small content creator now. But from going from 10, 20 average viewers to I think I got like a 3,000 during that stream.
Yeah.
I was like Jad hands, you know what I mean? Like the entire stream. I was nervous as hell.
That is so funny. You pulled it off nicely though. I mean, it was good. It was just genuine hype, and the intro to it all. Like that was masterful, man. That was awesome.
I got to bring those back, but I only want to do them for master clue openings.
Yeah. Yeah, so what do you, because I knew there was I can't fully remember. I'm following so many YouTubers and creators at this point. Are you doing a big, huge Master Casket opening in the future? Do you plan on doing that?
I am planning one. It's just gonna be a long time because I'm just gonna double what I did last time.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go for 1,000, but then I'm also doubling that. If
No.
everything works out the same, or if everything works out the way I think it's gonna work out, um, a friend is also gonna be stacking up 1,000 masters.
Oh my
He's ahead
god.
of me at the moment, by the way. Um,
How many are you
and it's
at?
basically gonna be like a 2,000 master casket opening, as long as it works out. We'll see. If not,
That
I'm
is
still gonna do 1,000.
that is crazy.
It's just gonna, it'll take a bit.
Yeah, it will. Okay,
Especially like if I could go full time, shit, it'll take half the time than I originally thought. But we'll see.
still so many hours. Bending time just asks, "Are you?" So I'm
Oh
assuming your
no,
name.
yeah.
Where did you get the name ImaDrum?
Well, my last YouTube name was Drummer Guy 59. Um, that was like my old channel on YouTube for RuneScape content, and I've always had the word drum somehow in my name. For any game ever, really. Uh, just because I played drums for like 10-ish years. So when I changed channels from Drummer Guy 59 to this new one, I had to think of something with the word drum in it. Also, because my in-game name is also Drum. I couldn't just have Drum in there though, because I feel like that wouldn't be good. Because if people are searching up drums and they find a RuneScape channel, I don't know if they're going to be too happy. Um, but I literally couldn't think of anything. And I forgot who gave me the idea, or I was talking to people at the time for the idea for the name, and just like I'm Drum, I just said it, and I was like, oh, I'll just call it that. I'm Drum, and then I just turned it to I'm a Drum. It
Nice,
has literally no meaning. I could not think of a different name.
nice. I love it. Okay, Drum. We're gonna wrap things up here, and I want to ask you before we fully wrap up for a few shout outs from the community, if you have any on the top of your head. I know I just spring this up on my guests sometimes, so if you don't have any,
Ooh,
let's hear them.
shout outs for like
Just people,
creators or
just people in the
anyone.
community, people in your stream, or creators, anybody that in the OSRS community.
Ooh, I got to shout out well all my staff team in my Discord community and clan and game. Without them, the clan would not be where it is today in terms of like, fostering that community over there. It's great. I'll also shout out, let's see. Ooh, Jase, of course. I got to shout out Jase.
The
He's
boy.
like the one content creator that I actively kind of like talk to like almost on a daily basis. It's hard to reach out to other content creators, but when I reached out to him, just from watching his streams and stuff like that, we've basically just been in contact, since whether to just check up on each other or just see how things are going, if we want to do content in game or whatever it is.
He's really
Um,
friendly, especially when
yeah,
you think, because I feel like there's this almost like perception of people that are really, really, really high rank in RuneScape. At least years ago, it felt like that. When you have somebody that's rank 2 overall in the game, it just feels like, oh, he's on a different like level. But no, he's so friendly with everybody. It's not, there's no elitism in any of that. He's great.
yeah, we have like a lot in common. I feel like, especially when it comes to like in-game content.
Yep.
We just kind of like clicked right there. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. We talk not every day, but we talk on a weekly basis, basically.
That's cool.
Let's see. I'm gonna shout out Purity. Purity's cool.
He is cool. I love him.
No, he's awesome. My friend Dick, that's what we call him. His in-game name is the Great Dick, and my friend Mike. Those are the guys that I talk to basically on a daily basis. They're in my clan, my community. They come to my streams when they can. They're good guys. They're probably like some of my closest friends that I've met on RuneScape, and still to this day. So you got to shout out to them.
Now, am I going to be seeing you at RuneFest this upcoming March?
No, I'm not gonna be going. I'd
Oh
love to
no.
go. I'd love to go, but it's so pricey. When I
Yeah.
was looking at plane tickets,
hmm
just because like I wouldn't go by myself, it would be like the girlfriend and I.
hmm
Plane tickets for the both of us,
Oh, it's so expensive.
round way was like $1,400 and that's not including or factoring in hotel, RuneFest tickets, and food, things like that. So it's just like it's too pricey.
Yeah.
I did go to a RuneFest in 2011 though. After I won the
Wow.
Golden Gnomes in 2010, that was
Wait.
like part of
Whoa,
the
whoa,
prize or
whoa.
whatever.
Let's
What?
wait. Let's talk 20. Do you say 2011?
Yeah, I won the very first Golden Gnomes that they held in 2010.
What?
And part of the
Okay,
prize,
I need to hear the story. What the hell? I didn't know any of this.
I can find the video is still up on their channel, I believe, and probably up on my channel. But if you want to look it up, it's called A Tree's Life. Basically, it's just like a short comedy video, and people liked it enough for some reason to vote for me to win that year in the Machinima short story category. And I went to RuneFest the year after that.
Wow, that is sick, dude.
I still don't have my gnome though. I'm still waiting on it. To be fair, they did give it to me back in 2011 when I went, because they didn't want to send it out because I was just going to fly out there anyway the next year. And let's just say that the gnomes were
placeholders,
pretty bad quality.
Oh god!
Like, imagine the gnomes just standing on the ground and it tips over and shatters into like 20 pieces. That's basically what happened. And they said they would give me another one, and I haven't gotten it since.
Yep, typical.
So technically, it was my fault. It was my fault. No, I'm not gonna blame them for that. Would be nice to have one though, still. But
that's
I mean, I could just
crazy.
go to the,
I did not know that. That's wild.
Yeah, a little backstory, I guess, on that.
Yeah. Okay. Drum.
Wait, I gotta shout out. I gotta shout out my girlfriend too. Of course, she lets me play RuneScape all day. And I'm prepping her for me being live a lot when Araxor comes out. So
hell yeah.
Gotta take her out to dinner so she's happy.
Cool. Okay, guys, for those listening, down in the description, I'm gonna have Drum's YouTube link and his Twitch link and Twitter link. You guys can all follow him and show him some love. Follow him for me. And Drum, thank you very much, man. This is an amazing conversation. I enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you very much for coming on today.
I appreciate you having me on.
Maybe in the next year or so, when we see some Stackable clues, get you on again, talk about the differences between right now and in the future of what changes with clue scrolls. So thank you again for coming on, man.
You're gonna have me, you, and Jase on.
Yes, that would actually be a goated trio. Okay, I love the trio.
And any other clue people, I suppose.
Hell yeah. All right, thanks again, Drum, for coming on. And everybody, if you guys want to support the cast, also down in the description, there's a Patreon link and a YouTube membership link. You can support, get your name on the title screen. But other than that, we will catch you next week. I am currently trying to schedule some guests in, so there's nothing set in stone quite yet, but I am live on Twitch a lot, so you guys can go follow the hardcore group content as well down there. But yeah, thank you for the third time, Drum, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace.